Futures back downside here once again this morning on continued tensions over in the Middle East. Oil back in focus here, back towards $100 to start the day off. Once again, futures very, very volatile. Energy futures very, very volatile. Energy stocks back in focus. We'll get a little bit of jobs-related economic data coming up at 8:30 this morning as well, with initial jobless claims and continuing claims. Potentially can move the market if we do get a print again outside of what is expected. We're also getting some building permit numbers coming up at 8:30 this morning as well. But yeah, focus back on energy once again as we head towards $100 here. This is what happened yesterday to XLE. If you missed it, we're significantly higher, to say the least. 57.50 on news that multiple strikes within the Strait of Hormuz overnight for us. Throughout the day over there, obviously, of more oil tankers.
Yeah, you see those tankers on fire. Oman, basically all but halting production. Some of Iraq's, refineries extraction areas on fire as well. Does not look good. And this is all while the administration is saying the launch cadence is dropping. Whether you're looking at rockets, or you're looking at drones, supposedly dropping, but the impact seems to be there. And let's just be quite honest about it. The Strait of Hormuz, again, all but blocked. And here's the funny part. Apparently, Iran is shipping oil to China through the Strait of Hormuz, right? They don't want to aggravate the, the hand that feeds them, so to speak, because that's kind of the dark fleet that we've talked about. It used to be Venezuela, used to be Russia, or it still is Russia, and Iran kind of sending these sanctioned oil all around the world. And Iran doesn't have any problem going through the Strait, Brendo.
No, and why would they? U.S. coming out this morning saying as well that escorts are coming for these oil tankers, but they're quote-unquote not ready yet to provide these security escorts through the Strait. So for the time being anyways, again, extreme volatility in oil markets going to be the case going forward here. NVIDIA also worth a look here this morning. Back at significant support levels after what happened yesterday. Initial rally got faded. We're right back to that same level from yesterday, support levels. Ahead of 4 days away from GTC, the AI Super Bowl, as I saw it titled this morning. I mean, there's going to be a ton of product launches. There's going to be a ton of announcements coming from this. But, I mean, the stock has been kind of choppy and back and forth ahead of that.
What do you think the focus is going to be on this year? Is it going to be robotics? Right, like what angle of AI they're going to take? I think there's probably going to be a little bit of robotics. I'm hoping for my for my cause here that they include some biotech in there so that we can kind of see some of these research windows get dropped a little bit. But there's a lot to talk about today too, Brent. There's a lot of retail names moving as well. Big sporting goods and reporting earnings. Dollar General, a bit of a different look for both of those. And Bumble.
I know. I was just
20.5%. People are still getting together.
I was just going to say, shout out to Whitney Wolf back in control of Bumble. Wow. 350, 290 up to 350 here this morning on a surprise beat for BMBL. Lots to look at this morning. Obi's back with us again, and Sean, of course. Good morning.
And me, unfortunately.
Good morning.
Yeah, Bumble back to where it was 3 weeks ago. Amazing stock, that stock there. I always laugh at this because I do remember when she came on CNBC all dressed up and everything and claiming to be completely sort of changing the app game here. But this is what, what's up, Randy?
Ooh, Randy.
Randy, no. No, Randy, no. How's it going? Yes or no? No? Okay.
Oh, gosh.
This is what Bumble's chart looks like. So what a great stock. I mean, this name comes out at $70, of course, back in 2021. And it's never even seen anywhere even close to that. As we continue to go to the low side, right? Its high back in July was $8.64. Now the low is $2.60. So, it should be a good day for Bumble. I have no idea why I have BBAI up. Those in the glass houses shouldn't throw rocks, I guess, with BBAI all the way to the downside right now as well. But yeah, I don't know. Like normally I would say we kind of buy ahead of this GTC because of what the boys were talking about back there, and the new technologies being introduced. There was a new deal today with Palantir and NVIDIA, linking up and using the software. I think those are the things that you're going to hear about next week. And it'll be interesting. The biotech thing will be cool. I think robotics, all of that is what it is. And even things you can't think about, right, is what we're waiting for. Blow our minds, Jensen. But the stock's not doing anything except for just blowing wind. I mean, it's just kind of like down to 180, back up to 185, and just hanging out right here. So we'll have to look to see. If, for me, NVIDIA, it's not even really on. It's always on the radar. I mean, it could be a big stock at any day. But I think the story is still the same, man. I think it's still going to be an oil kind of day. It's going to be looking at this market. It's going to be headline sensitive day one more time. You were just talking about the petrodollar there and the fact that some of these deals aren't getting done through the Straits of Iran with U.S. dollars and how that's going to affect
always been an issue
relationships.
In the past.
Yep. So
I was saying that anybody who's ever stepped off the petrodollar has gotten stepped on by the United States. It's just that's just the history there. But regardless, I don't really care about that. What I do care about is, yes, USO with a bid back up into 115s here, pushing up a little bit higher. Maybe, we were talking about this yesterday, potential for, it was a great short on Monday, right, coming in the overnight session. But if we actually get above some of these reference prices, again, even on crude oil, the crude oil futures, if we get above some of those prices, then yeah, definitely I'm looking for the potential of a strong squeeze. We can see that, Monday we had that solid trade, the 110 breakdown. It was a nice little flush. The day after, we get a little bit of capitulatory action down at 94s, and even yesterday, a slam into 101s gets picked right back up, and then bids up even higher. So it's just like maybe the action is kind of telling us something here, but we'll see if we'll see if that'll come into fruition. A couple other names on my radar today, earnings names. Stocks in play doing relative volume. Take a look at the path this one is taking off of its earnings report right here. Strong bid into the close. That's a bit of an interesting push. Definitely a buyer there. Take a look at some of these candles. Whenever I see this, I'm like, yeah, there's definitely a buyer kind of running this up. And then look at that on the reaction, just flushes all the way back down below prior day's lows. So I guess even on an okay report, we're pulling back into levels we haven't seen for a week on UiPath, but definitely doing some relative volume there. Bumble, you guys were talking about that, BMBL. I like this one as well. Didn't really look at the report. Oh boy, look at that. Wow, nice. So talk about a little bit of a miss there on EPS. But
well, you might as well go up 25% then.
Bidding up pretty aggressively here relative to what it's priced at, right? So that's what I have on watch here. Don't know if I'm going to get a match on this one in terms of a trade opportunity, but we'll wait and see. What's interesting as well, and the story continues on this one, Sean.
Short float on Bumble, 22%.
That's really good to know. Look at HIMS. This is definitely like the news is changing. I guess the narrative for a strong part of the selling that was happening, and you can see here strong bid consolidation, strong bid holding higher, strong bid yesterday, and now trading relatively higher than in terms of yesterday's range in the pre-market today on HIMS and HERS. Does it continue to do a little bit of relative volume? Probably not. We're getting, 3 days of decent volume here. So that RVOL indicator might just be like, okay, well, we're doing about 1 times the average amount we've done in the past 5 periods. So watching that one. Oracle day 2s, if you're talking about day 2 plays, I like the NBIS as well. Strong close yesterday on NBIS. Large cap association there with NVIDIA on this one. And yeah, I'm just going to keep it simple. It made a range after the strong drive yesterday, the lows at 108s. 110 was that weekly level here. If you can see a little bit of resistance happening here. You can see multiple bids over the past few weeks or the past couple of months haven't really been able to get past this 110 area. So I'm going to wait and watch to see if this finally kind of unfolds some of that selling pressure that we've been having there. But yeah, that's kind of what I have on watch. Let me know in the chat. Let us know what you guys are looking at. We're more than willing to look at other names as well. I want to know everything that's technically in play today. So we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, look at the market even right now is starting to get a little downside feels to it. I mean, even just in the last half hour, we've really dripped 24,900 down to 24,800. Starting to get a little low here as the market, basically goes back and forth with this whole Iran stuff. I mean, you know, you're just getting so many different headlines all the time as we worry about, you know, what we were saying there, the oil markets here. The US dollar is another look that we can quickly have here. Upside, I was just looking at it, nice upside play there. Over the same time as the market's coming back in, we're seeing a little bit more strength here in the DXY. So, well, it's actually funny. It's kind of still in the range. Like if we go into a 30-minute chart, you're still, you know, you're not breaking that level of the high. We were just here last week and we were talking about 100, and then now it's just kind of hovering around. It's not as exciting U.S. dollar talk as I'd hoped there would be, but for right now, you do see the market starting to tick up. And then, as you had mentioned here today, we've got our watch list out, Dollar General's on there, Alphabet. There's a bunch of different names. We got trade balance, initial jobless claims at 8:30. So we did see a weaker jobs market. We'll see if that can hold as well. Expected 215 jobless claims prior to 213. So it's getting up there on the claims side as well. And yeah, so here, let me push this out. You guys have to get part of our watch list like immediately. And if you're looking for something to look at every single day, all the economic releases, you know, right here, anything trading in the pre-market, Oxy, HIMS, Bumble, Downside, NVIDIA, UiPath, Snapchat, eh? Okay. There's Dollar General, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lee Auto, Adobe tonight with Ulta Beauty as well as Rubrik coming. And then here's all the stories, man. And we'll go through them at the desk and we'll talk about them all here as well. But Palantir, Energy, UiPath, Tesla, Uber, Alphabet, NVIDIA. This is not even Sharif's note. This is a very condensed version of the top stories today in the market as we continue to go. There's the three earnings names this morning, Dick's, Lee Auto, and Bumble. Right there, Nutrien. I don't even know that story. I got to read about that there. Looks like Upgrade up 3% there. And then that's it, right? So check out our watch list, something that's absolutely free to everybody. You can go grab that link in description. Put a lot of work into that. We want to thank Adara for all of that. And then for all the members, you get Sharif's morning note I have it open right now here as well. And check out the detail that is in this note. Well, one of the cool things that is available now is you could just click on whatever story. So, I was interested in Lee Auto's profit margin here, or I guess, sorry about that, profit plunge right there. So all the details right here about trader takeaway, what's the near-term outlook, and it's different for every story. What comes through. So Bumble, it's all here. How many pages today? Whoa, good thing that did not fall. Did that fall?
Nope.
Oh, good save. 16 pages of Sharif's morning note. So make sure you guys go grab that. It's something that all 5, 6 of us around here, don't want to say that magic combination of numbers again. It's one of Neil's favorite things to do. Yeah, Neil's in sunny Florida. I mean, I keep seeing yesterday the Jays lost to the Yankees, but it was a away game. So he's there. Every year they go down to Dunedin and watch a little bit of spring baseball. So some of the best times. Warm weather and baseball doesn't get any better than that. We're getting ready to start our baseball season as well, and excited to do all of that. What's your summer sport?
I like basketball.
Okay.
I like playing basketball. I don't really watch. So the thing is, like you guys already know, I don't really watch too many sports. But in terms of playing, I definitely like to play basketball. Volleyball is a good one. Beach volleyball. I remember we haven't gone in a while, but
beach volleyball, that's
Woodbine
Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It gets a lot out of you. What else do I like? It's been a while. I know Sharif plays tennis. It's been a while since I've played tennis. I really like badminton.
Yeah. What about
the quick
pickleball?
Reflexes. I've tried pickleball. I've played pickleball with my siblings, and I'm just like, this is kind of a really slow version of badminton and tennis. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's fun. I'm not going to deny that it's not fun. But yeah, those are kind of my sports there. I like mountain biking. So I do some of that there as well. Didn't go snowboarding this winter, but yeah.
Snowboarding, my kids, he
Always
finished
down
his
to
last
Shreds.
snowboarding last week. So
Nice.
Oil right now, thanks Hamster. What's up, Hamster? Hope you're doing well over there. Get in that hamster wheel. He says $92, and we're starting to go from CL. So this is the oil futures right now, as we talked about, up 7%, like ear to the ground, right? I mean, this market, once President Trump says you know, the strait is open and there's either a ceasefire in the region or something like that, man, I'm just gonna try to get over to the futures as fast as I can and either sell off the oil futures or buy the Nasdaq and just let's go. So, I mean, I'm waiting for that. I think that's going to be the big play. But you don't want to, I'm not going to sit on my hands and wait for that. But if that does come through, I feel like that's that next big trade, you know, the ceasefire trade. And whether or not it lasts, the trade might not last more than a couple minutes. But I think that word, and by a couple minutes, I mean like an all day thing, but might not last a week. That's the ceasefire. Like, that's the trade that I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that announcement. When it comes through, that's good. I'm not waiting for like, oh, the war is almost done, or we've almost taken out all the targets we need. And then you get Hegseth at the very next, or even 10 minutes later saying, okay, we're gonna drop the most bombs we've ever dropped today. Like, I thought all the targets were gone, you know? So we're gonna be excited to hear that when there is a ceasefire, and I believe that will be hopefully soon. And hopefully it's over the weekend, but I'd like it to be during market hours so we can take advantage of that. And we do have Adara dropping all the news, and we're attached to it as well here. So you're in the right space. Thanks for joining us. It's 8:15 right now. I'm looking at the futures. We're looking at a bunch of different names, earnings names and whatnot. Let's go back over to the desk. We will have Joe with options and upgrades and downgrades as well. Adara is here. Everybody's here today. So have a good one, and Obi and I will be right back.
Yeah, a few minutes to go here. We'll bring you some data coming up at 8:30 as well on the job side of things this morning. Lots of people talking about this one, POLA rocket ship right now, 265 running into a little bit of resistance here in front of 275. I see absolutely nothing on this, so it seems to be just one of those wild runners here so far this morning. Definitely one that fits all or checks all the boxes, I guess, for you.
The breakout's on, Brendo, but as you said, lacking a catalyst over here. But there's the breakout, guys. This is the 5-minute chart on POLA, Pola. Looks like it really got the breakout there at 7:30. I'm going to keep my eye out on this one for any possible headlines, but uninterrupted to the high side, volume-weighted average price, just a bit ahead of 2.5, Brendo. I love when VWAP and the $0.50 overlap. It gives you that extra, you know, room for support as, you know, traders look to get in at the $0.50, and VWAP's overlapping. We'll keep an eye on this one, up 35. Yeah, tons of volume behind that as well. You mentioned this right out of the gate here this morning, some retail action to contend with today as well. DG downside, worth noting. We, if you zoom out a little bit, 140-ish is a bit of a level. We're below that right now, but again, very light volume so far. Dollar General, not the greatest report. We also had DKS was the other one coming through. Again, same story, not the greatest on the volume side of things so far this morning, but definitely a decent report here for Dix. I don't get this. Like, you see Dollarama and Canada just can't stop opening new locations because demand is surging for Dollarama, an American or a Canadian equivalent to Dollar General. You're not seeing that here, though. You're seeing the Walmarts and the Costcos really do well, but the Walmarts and the Costcos, I'm not saying they're not doing well here, but Dollarama really booming, and you can kind of see that, too, in some of the numbers. They reported Q3 earnings this morning. Even though that top line number for revenue beat expectations, it's down 6% year over year, $10.9 billion. They were able to shore up costs. They brought in a $1.93 EPS that easily beat the consensus of 164. But I'm just really struck by the variances between our two economies. Yeah, the other retail name that's worth noting here, no real significant news behind this today, but Nike. It's been an ugly 2 weeks, I guess, working on 11 days in a row to the downside here. We had that nice gap up yesterday. There was I think there was 1 or 2 positive notes from analysts yesterday on Nike, and then it just gets absolutely slammed all day long, basically going out on the lows. We're back to 55.40 here, so not a great retail situation so far today, guys.
No, I actually, Dollarama and Dollar General actually as stocks are very similar. If anything, Dollarama is closer to the 200 period than that of DG. I mean, Dollarama here, I agree with Sharif. I mean, it seems like they're opening stores everywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere in a year, Dollarama. So if you do like that, opportunity here in Canada, you can pick some of that up. I mean, I don't know if you do that on the back of this Dollar General number here, but look at the Dollar General chart. You know, if you put your money in Dollarama back in June, like I was just showing you, you're at 0 right now. If you put your money into Dollar General, you're up 50%. So DG here in the States, has been working, but to the point there right now, doesn't look like it, man. Just like we just mentioned about Nike's had 11 straight down days. Obviously, this 5% is hurting right now, this big red candle, but you were starting to break on Dollar General anyways. And the numbers weren't bad, actually. 10 billion, 10.9 beats the estimates. So they beat on the top and the bottom line. They put out earnings of 193 versus 161. It might be the same store sales, 2.2 to 2.7%, which is what's bringing this down. Maybe they wanted a little bit of a better number, but the FY guide, 3.7 to 4.2 net sales. So it's looking pretty good. The volume's not really here, though, today for Dollar General, but I think the numbers look decent there. And yeah, look to pick some up, but you have to get to that 200 period. And that's why I was saying Dollarama, again, like a lot of you don't care about, Canadian names, I would assume, but if you were looking to pick this up on any Dollar General weakness today, this might be a good opportunity because you're just right at this 200 period, which has been a good sign. But as I had said right there, over the since June, which is where we are right here, you're not really getting the get up there. But that's cherry picking. You can go all the way down into here into last February, and you're talking about a completely different game. That's 140 to 193, right? So they already had their run up. But the dollar stores, I think, can work. And then DKS, right? I mean, Dick's Sporting Goods, I like it. The thing is that they just took over Foot Locker, so people are thinking that maybe some of the inventory, some of that shoe game that Brendan was just talking about, not as profitable of an idea as maybe they had hoped for in taking that brand over. So closing some of the retail stores in malls, saving some money on the Foot Locker side, and then putting those shoes and those quantities back into the actual brick and mortar stores of DKS. And so Dick's Sporting Goods stores, I'm not sure if you've been into them before, Obi, but they're amazing. They're huge, clean, bright, and just as a sports fan and buyer of equipment and all that kind of stuff, I really enjoy the experience at DKS. So here we go. We're starting to get to the upside. Both names about 100,000 shares, so not huge there. But did you see anything on the chart? I mean, I see you have Nike up.
Yeah,
right
I like the weekly here on Nike, as Brendan mentioned. Multiple days of selling, and you can see back-to-back weeks that are pushing into some prior structure here. So support all the way down at 51s, and we're opening this week as of right now with that top wick as well. So strong selling yesterday that broke down this most recent low. So yeah, I think this one's potentially a good look. You have some support over here as well at 58 that we broke below. Next stop potentially, if this is to continue, I'm going to be looking for that 51 area as well. But bigger picture, yeah, I think you can already see that's a bit of a trend because the bigger picture trend is down, and then the most recent trend as well is down. So we'll have to look and see if the intraday trend is also in a similar direction there. So I like that. Lots of confluence there on the sell side. For the sell side. Yeah,
me too, other zinc there. Dick's Sporting Goods has lots of my money from the kids, he says, right there. 8Co Holdings, Sharif, right here. ORBS, really getting going right now. Just broke through $1. Orbs, 8Co Holdings. Got to figure out what the story is with here, but it's a big move right now. And what a stock, man. I mean, this stock has been, again, pretty beat up, right? To the downside. This name was $20-30 all the way down here into pennies, and now back up to 119. So check out ORBS for those of you that are looking for something going on right now. This name has it. It's got the juice. Let's go over to Joe and get his options input.
All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the activity from yesterday. A lot going on in the options world. Once again, you can see year over year, month over month, increase in activity, and we're going to start to see that translate from an intraday standpoint and obviously from a weekly standpoint as well, too. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at USO here this morning at that $120 mark, a little bit north from where we're currently trading right now, but open interest sitting relatively high. And then you can see we're sitting on a pretty lofty spread there, guys. I mean, $35, and that's going to be expiring next Friday. This is where we're going to see a lot of congestion and activity is on that March 20th expiration cycle. Now, as for your delta, I found this to be relatively high considering how far out of the money it is, but also in the post-market yesterday, USO did continue to climb. Now, your gamma exposure relatively light, but that's one thing that we always want to keep an eye out because this is going to really tell us how much we're going to be paying in premium. And that's why we're seeing such a lofty spread there and why we have an increase in the actual value of these contracts is you're at the money IV sitting around 150%. Moving forward, we'll take a look at some silver calls. This is some pretty large size, once again, heading over to that March 20th expiration cycle, 60,800 there. And then we have volume around 3,320. Bid and ask, not bad whatsoever, sitting on a $3 spread, and that's going to be at that $80 mark here on silver. I find this to be a little bit choppy as of late, not that clean price action in which we were experiencing a couple of months ago. Now, as for your delta sitting on that 42 metric and your gamma exposure, relatively cool, but the at the money IV, 66.6%, guys.
Yeah, no, I like that that look on silver. A lot of talk about silver yesterday as well. Looking interesting here. We talked about potential backside here. I don't think the position board is really updating. I did get it a little bit involved in this path here, as again showing us that it is selling off pretty decently on those on that earnings report. As of right now, you can see that. I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, the time to really slam into this was probably 7 a.m.-ish, where you got that break of prior day area. But as of right now, just kind of bleeding out, coming into like an hour before the open. So interesting stuff. We'll see if there's any continuation on that one. But silver, I do like the idea there. Strong volume, definitely a bit of a blow off or capitulatory action there, all the way up into those 109s on SLV. And consolidating lower, so I do like this. But we had talks of this potentially, on its way to 150.
Right.
Perhaps,
we had that talk last night. That thinking that silver is not anywhere near done.
Yet,
and he was talking about the gold silver ratio. And how that's going. I just wanted to. Yes, Randy.
Yes.
Yes, coffee. Yes. Guys, too much. Okay, here it is, 8Co Holdings. This is a Cathie Wood. They have secured $125 million in commitments led by Bitmine and Woods Ark Invest. So it's just $125 million, but there it goes. Orbs, 8Co Holding. We found the story. It is a Cathie Wood and Bitmine story here. So they're seeing something in this business. Yeah, why not? I mean, this might be something to watch out for. We just bounced off $1 twice. So that's always been a key level, right? And I think that the next time it comes down to like this 105 area, you could take it with 5 cents worth of risk. It might be the good one. I wonder if we're not close enough to open yet where real volume comes in. And then we can really see if that $1 holds. So let's give this a minute. But there goes Orbs. The story is Bitmine, is for what I can see, Bitmine and Cathie Wood, so BMNR and ARK Invest, putting up $125 million to get involved in ORBS. Thanks for bringing that out again to everybody in the chat. I think it's important that we keep that going. Let us know of any moves that are happening that we can look them up for you, talk about them, and give you a little brief look at the stock itself. And then if we can find the story, even better there. So, I'm excited for Pershing Square coming through soon. That's going to be a big IPO. Oh, we have that other IPO today.
Oh, yeah.
PAYP, is that what it is?
PAYP.
PayPay. Yes, it's in the system right now. Nothing going on right now on PayPay. Of course, my chart still thinks I'm looking for orbs. But as soon as this comes out, PAYP, we'll hope to look at that as well there today. I think it was priced at $16. So we'll see where that comes out. And nothing to show you now. I don't even know why I'm showing you this. But that's let's go to oil. That's PAP. That's going to be today's big mover on the, hopefully it's a big mover anyways. That'll be a big mover on the IPO look. All right, less than a minute to go now, and then we get jobless claims, and we can see what that does to the market. We've often seen the market move on these numbers and then drift right back to where it was at the beginning. I'm not expecting a huge move here. 215 versus 213. Let's go back to the desk and get ready for it.
Yeah, here we go. This is what we're expecting on the initial jobless claims for last week. 213,000 was the print. Again, last week, remember, 217,000, so a little bit of an uptick. expected here, so we'll watch when that comes in as well. We're also getting import-export data for January, some building permit numbers coming through, balance of trade as well for January, so quite a large economic release to come here in a matter of moments. Continuing claims, it's worth noting, has been trending higher over, I think it's been 3 weeks in a row to the upside for continuing claims, so we'll keep an eye on this number as well. The previous 1.86, 1.84, they are expecting a little bit of a decline on that side of things coming up at 10:30 this morning. Natural gas data coming through, that could be affected by everything obviously going on over in the Middle East. Fed's Bowman to come as well at 11 o'clock this morning. There's a building permits number, housing starts as well. Looks a little bit higher than expected, 1.48 million versus 1.35, 1.37 versus 1.4. Still waiting on these initial claims. There they are, 213,000 versus 215,000. So a downtick slightly. Same story on the continuing claims, 1.85 million, 1.85 million, the exact number that was expected. 4-week average, 212. Forecast was 223, so a nice downtick there.
Yeah, interesting. No change in the continuing claims, but you see that the trade balance continues to drop, guys. Negative 54.5. Last time around, it was the forecast was 66, and the previous was 70.03. You got to assume the tariffs obviously have a bit of an effect on that. But something to keep an eye on, because we got that jobless claims, right? That missed by about 90,000 jobs. So if we get another good inflation print, I think we're going to probably be in line for another cut. I know we were looking at the rate tool yesterday, and I know the prediction markets are also looking at 1 or 2 cuts. But if we keep seeing some of these numbers, the variables change, and opinions should change.
Big time, as you were saying, big time beats here on the import-export side of things. 356.6 billion. On the import side of things, easily topping that 351 expected, 302.1 exports versus 286 even expected. So both sides of things higher than expected. So as you were saying, continuing to trend in that direction.
And the housing starts, we've been seeing about, like, we have this problem too on this side of the border where supply remains constrained because not too much new homes are coming on. Housing starts here, 1.487 million. The expectation, 1.34. So not a bad look in housing permits. That one missed, though. The housing starts did beat, but the housing permits missed. So looking to the future, maybe not as much supply coming online.
Yeah, which, given the housing market, or the state of the housing market, might be actually a little bit of a boost, too. If you take some of that supply away, I mean, there's so much of it right now here anyways, that just isn't moving. So a whole bunch of numbers, guys, but not much movement.
Oh, I was, that's Canadian building permits up 5%. Beating a forecast of -2%. So Canadian building permits higher as well. And then the housing starts 1.5, as Brendan said, versus 1.3 roughly. So some good numbers there. Just looking, the jobless claims basically in line there, 213 versus 215. So you get 2,000 extra jobs there, jobless claims. So on the low side, so that's good. So it's less jobless claims, so we like that. But the market, as we just mentioned, I mean, I still have it on oil, but if we just go over here, let's just go to the SPY. I'm always looking at the Qs. Not much going on. And we said, like, being down like 2.5% from its all-time highs seems low to me right here. I think it goes lower. I think we should be a little lower considering what we've seen in the markets over the last little while. And it actually, the only thing I have written down right now so far is shorting the market today. I feel like we are very close to that breaking spot right now. That 670 right there coming back. There's that stupid 67 again. That's coming into play. Like, literally, that's the line that we're at right here, right now on the SPY. It looks like we're going to try to take down the last couple weeks right into here. That goes into last week, that little level that we've been holding on to. So we'll see right off the open if we do wind up holding that. But underneath the 50 period, three straight down days here, trying to get going now. And I don't see anything in our watch list, in our stories or anything like that, that tells me that this market wants to go higher today. If anything, I am thinking a little lower when you get names like NVIDIA. I mean, I assume that this move in the market's not really doing anything. Look at the drift down, right? But even before the numbers happening, the numbers aren't doing anything, but there it goes to the downside. That's NVIDIA. Then the other big guys, we have Microsoft, seems to not be able to find a bid these days either, hovering around $400. I mean, how many times I know the low was 380, I believe, yeah, but still 400 and not looking any better today. So I don't know. I'm not super excited. I mean, we had, again, we were talking last night, Obian's like XOM, thinking that that might be overcooked a little bit to the upside as well. Although that name is up with oil being up today. I think the long names are going to be in the energy space, it seems like today. And I believe the shorts are going to print a little bit early here as the Nasdaq keeps pushing lower. We're looking to take down its pre-market low right now, and we're not saved by any economic numbers. There's no more coming, so we'll have to wait to see what we do here moving forward. And I shouldn't say there's no more coming without me actually looking it up. I didn't think there was. At 8:30, no, that's it. So we're done now. We have Fed's Bowman speaking at around 11 o'clock, and then ear to the ground with Department of War and anything involving energy, right? So
I do like the kind of curl we're getting here on TQs at the same time. Kind of the most recent low being what is this, 45.17 here, and we got almost there yesterday on a bit of a flush, but strong. Last week on the week lows. But yeah, this is coming in to the same level this week and holding that. So kind of watching it. We'll see if there's continued kind of selling, lower highs, lower lows as well on the weeklies. So yeah, I kind of like that idea, but we keep chopping in and around and orbiting this 25K on the Nasdaq. So that's a little bit more interesting to me to see what we're actually trying to do here with that 25K at the same time. So yeah, oil is a winner, says super no. I do like that oil play. I do think it was a little too far too fast. I just like to look at USO here as that's kind of the one that I've been more involved in. 124s, 125s didn't really come in. You had that strong volume spike, but we'll see how this week ends. The week open is more interesting to me. We're already back in the teens right now. The week open is 119.42 on USO with a high of 124. So I think if we make our way all the way back up to those 119s, could be interesting here as as we get further developments and further news. Want to reiterate that USO probably the best vehicle to trade off of news catalysts and scalping, I think, is the way to go with this one, because there's, they're talking about some sort of news and then it's getting pulled, and there's a lot of like back and forth. Like yesterday, you had that news of the FBI talking about the West Coast, right, and I think they pulled that as well, something like that. So I'm just like, all right, so I can't really trust anything too much that's coming out.
Chris Wright with that tweet yesterday, or was it yesterday about the, it was 2 days ago, the strait was open.
Yeah, exactly.
We were sending guys through.
There's mines, there's no mines.
Yeah, with some manned ships that are helping it go through. This 8co holding might break, man. I mean, what's up to Gav Ross there in the chat? Was saying that we nailed that 105 a couple times, and we did, man. We nailed that 105 back up to 115 a couple times there, but looks like we're getting ready to test. So again, like if you've gone 105 up to 110, you now have that in your kitty, because you can take that $1 loss on not $1, but on the $1 break, that would be 5 cents. So 5 cents one way, 5 cents the other way right now on ORBS. It looks like it wants to hold one more time. You could have got long 5s there again, up to 7s. This is that scalping strategy, Obi, that you and I talked about, where it's kind of like on NIO the other day. Remember, it was sitting at 550, yeah. And we were saying go short 48, 49, take your 2 or 3 pennies on the win and sacrifice that much on the loss. So possibly a good trade there for 8co holdings, and I'm glad that we're able to talk about that in front of you guys here as well, because it's a legitimate stock that a lot of you may trade. It's only $1 and it's done 25 million shares. Bitmine and Kathy Wood getting involved. Here you can go find that story. So yeah, it's 8:38 right now. We're excited for what's going to come today. Some good talk there. I'm going to find some notes. I did put out, I haven't even looked yet, I did ask everybody what you guys were looking at here today, and after kind of a crazy morning, here we have a couple responses, so I'm going to do this blind right now. So I just said, man, good morning, traders. The oil surges towards that $100 mark. What are you guys looking to trade today? So Adit says Domo and TSSI. Nebius day 2. Let's have a look at that. I think we were already talking about that. My guy to the right over here, Obi's all about that. Referee Ronnie, man, stay out of the penalty box, man. This guy's on Woof today. That's Petco Holdings. A good name, Petco Holdings. I lost money in BarkBox, so that's a good one there. Woof it up. on that one. HGRAF, that was a good one. That's been one of the top names in the pink sheets. So Used Gum wants us to look over there. Used Gum is all right as long as it's yours, you know. ONDS there. Oh, what? When did you write this? 36 minutes ago? How did you know? Sorry, that's ORBS, my bad. I was like, ONDS, this guy's got horse sense over there. All right, TPET, all right, we'll look at that. AMD, and who's this handsome gentleman over here? Oh, this is TradRu2Seun. Oh, Stephanie. Oh, this is Stephanie. Oh, hi, Stephanie. That's really nice to see you in my post there. Where are you, Stephanie? There you are, blocked. Right there, so see ya. Hey, good morning, Hang Loose. Nice to see you as well. But man, that Stephanie was a very handsome individual there. Okay. I'd be interested to see what's up with Stephanie over there. Yeah, so that's it, man. We're ready to have some fun and some good ideas there. As you can see, ONDS has been on people's minds and some pink sheet names as well over there. So thanks for having fun with us every day. We're live at 8 a.m., if you can believe it or not, all the way to 4. We've got me, Obi, myself, Joe, Sharif, Adara, Brendo. Everybody's here. Let's go over to Joe right now and check out some upgrades and downgrades.
All right, guys, some interesting names here on the list. We're going to kick things off with Campbell's Soup. Wells Fargo giving them the downgrade, guys, from $28 to $20, also going from an equal weight to an underweight rating. Now, moving forward, something that we don't typically see, Aston Martin. I figured we'd have a little fun this morning. Sanford Bernstein lowering the price target, also downgrading them from a strong buy to a hold, guys. And then we have Honda Motors as well, going from an overweight to an equal weight by Morgan Stanley. And then TeraWulf down 1.7% here by Keefe & Woods, downgrading that and lowering the price target to $24, from $24 to $23. Moving forward, we'll take a look at some of the upgrades. Now, Obi was talking about this one this morning, considering it's down 9%, going from a hold to a buy with a $15 price target by Needham, 9.37% to the downside, and looking like it's going to continue to sell off a little bit here, guys. Occidental Petroleum also getting the nod, guys. Wells Fargo, 1.6% here in the pre-market. $46 was that initial target, now getting increased to $69. CrowdStrike, DZ Bank giving them the nod, getting a upgrade from a sell to a buy rating with a price target of $490. And then we have Nike as well, too, equal to an overweight with a price target of $73 by Barclays.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Nike upgraded.
Yeah, Nike upgraded. Path, I'm definitely looking to get involved in that one. But there's one on there with a downgrade that I really like, and today is earnings day 2 for this one here, so we can take a look at what it did yesterday. I think the action, I kind of gave it up a little too early. I was like, okay, we're just chopping up this range here around 24s off the open, but you can see how it sold off pretty well. Decent reversion in the later half of the day, but we'll see if it gives us any sort of a day 2 move there. Maybe that downgrade with a little bit of confluence for the short there. Prior day low 22.41 is what I'll be watching on Campbell's. What else is there? Yeah, Path. I like the Path. CrowdStrike was on there as well, so let's take a quick look at CrowdStrike at the same time. Yeah, choppy mess yesterday. Can't really get past this 450 for the past couple of days here. You can see strong selling coming in. 448s, maybe, catching some longs offside when you had that gap up in consolidation. When you break that pre-market range low, it was pretty much done there as well. And again, on Wednesday, which was yesterday, a push up above 450 there, gets all the way to 452s, but slams right back in. So a little bit of recent resistance there on CrowdStrike. Don't know if that was, I think it was an upgrade, right? If that's really going to help this 450 area as of right now. But I'll be watching it. We'll see if that kind of cracks. We'll go to a higher time frame as well. Let's see what that area is looking like on the hourly. Okay, it's not too much, and we've been running up since earnings. So yeah, I do like that. We were talking about this a couple days ago here at that 431 breakout as well. Excuse me. So that's a bit of that. I guess that was a bit of a level you can see as support and some resistance as well. And we're slowly trading above that post earnings. So I think it's a good look there on CrowdStrike, but maybe bigger picture is much nicer. You can see the Nasdaq and the ES pulling back right now.
Yeah, I wanted to say a good idea, and I know that we were on this yesterday a little bit when that news hit about NVIDIA investment, but I want to say a shout out to those in the chat there on my Twitter, because you mentioned Nebius Day 2. So I think this could be a good little level there as well, 108 and change. You're down about 2% here today. So this name, again, with that sort of money injection there was $5 billion from NVIDIA yesterday, at a not horrible level, even right now of 109, but definitely looking to see, like, that was that news sort of bomb story that came out, boom, to the upside. We did give it back, throughout the day, but then we were able to find a base in and around this 108. It's 108.50, but if you're going to give it a little bit of room here off the open, what about 108? That's kind of where we were in the pre-market there, and then we got bumped. So I like that play. And again, that's not, the move yesterday was from here, right? You started at 96, then the story came out, and then we didn't really get going until we broke through that 107, 108 area. So I think NBIS back here to 107 into the 108 area looks like a good little dip buy opportunity if we're able to get into that specific spot. And you're down 2.5% there. So I know I'm a little negative on the market today, and obviously Nebius won't hold up if the market completely crashes, but I don't think we're going for that whole, tank sort of a movement here unless we do get some sort of a story. And if we do get a story, we can pivot real quick, right? I think that word pivot, actually, we don't use it enough, but I think that's important to have in your toolbox, right? I mean, all the time, you and I could be looking for a long in oil, and then the story hits, and all of a sudden it's a short, and you just start to switch to look for different levels. You look for levels more on the downside or levels to short rather than, try to pick up those bids. But anyways, have a pivot there. So Nebius, I'm actually going to add it to the list. I want to thank everybody for bringing that to my attention. And just a day 2 play. Like I said, I'm a little struggling to find big cap stories today. There is one with Palantir. We're going to run through the rundown and go over a bunch of these names. But for me, that's what I'm looking at. The Nike story is interesting. It got an upgrade there despite it being down. Brennan said, it's funny because yesterday one of our stories was Nike upgrade, and it was like, okay, well, maybe it's finally turning itself around, but looks like you're going to have another negative day here. And at some point it gets so bad that maybe it's good, but yeah, a couple weeks of downside play for Nike and trying to find a bottom. And I would say not yet, because there's nothing to base it off of. If you're going to do anything, you got to wait for this $50 mark to come through, which isn't too far away. I mean, if you want to take a 2.5% shot at this, you could buy at some point here. But what's the catalyst for Nike? We talked about the World Cup coming through. Adidas is a much bigger name in that space, and that's ADDY. There it is right there on the pink sheet. So you could trade this as an ADR, right? So you can see there also actually what in the, what is going on? You lose Kanye, you lose everything over here, Adidas. Come on, man. Nice downside play here. Wow, okay. So we thought Nike was somebody heard Nike real bad, but no, someone heard Adidas as well. Maybe it's because not enough people are calling it Adidas, and then that might get it back. But
heard it being called Adidas.
You have.
There goes the size on 11s on path.
Yeah, hit that fail again.
There's a lot of size there on.
Yeah, you're short, but it's not showing up. Are you still short?
Yeah, I'm still saying. I'm looking at add.
Maybe if I take a little small position somewhere, it will show up.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I guess I can show my chart. I'm looking at different charts here. So this is where I got involved. Look at that. That 11 definitely was worth a little bit of an add here in the pre-market session.
Here, I'm going to go short.
As path.
And then I'm going to get out.
Continues to... No, nothing.
It still doesn't show up. Okay, so the position board is not working, Andre, which we'll get working in there. I just punched in and out a UiPath. Sometimes to get it, it's just going to look like, Sean, what are you doing, man? You have no idea how to trade. But I just went in and out of UiPath there to get the position board up. We'll get it going in a minute. So, yeah, interesting there, Sharif? We just saw Nike and then Adidas to the downside. I guess the World Cup isn't having that much of an effect on some of these apparel companies.
Business for them, Sean. I think the direct-to-consumer channels really was kind of hurting Nike a little bit there with their focus on online as well as focusing on the Nike stores, and they've shifted completely. They want to go back to that 3-wall setup with Dick's and Foot Locker and everybody else. But Adidas, not a company I keep my eye on too much. Do you have a lot of Adidas stuff?
No. I was just thinking too, and I think a lot of this comes down to from the shoe standpoint. A lot of this comes down to the fact that you've had, the ONs, the Hokas, like there's a lot of other options now. It's not just from brand recognition specifically. It's not just Nike and Adidas anymore.
And I gotta say, I gotta build on your point. I think there's shifting consumer sentiment. A lot of the young people I see at the gym, they don't wear Nike, they don't wear Adidas.
No.
Like I feel like an old head around with my Shox and my Nike Air Maxes, right?
Yeah.
They're all wearing New Balances, like those wide moon-looking shoes, Asics, right? Even Brooks. Brooks coming back from the dead.
I love Brooks.
When I was growing up, Brooks was a thrifty kind of shoe that you picked up at like, Payless Shoes or something like that. But not anymore.
They're really targeting the running space right now specifically, which I don't think there's, I mean, Asics kind of does as well, but just be aware for AI in general. Perplexity CEO is live on CNBC currently. Not that that is going to change anything, but who knows what he's talking about. AIP Con, wanted to mention this as well. Sean was talking about the headline for Palantir. This is coming up at some point today. They never actually come out and just say it's starting at whatever, 10 o'clock. The live stream, Adara was telling me, live stream set to begin at 10 a.m. Last year, she was saying he didn't actually take the stage for the keynote until about 2 o'clock. So it might or might not be something worth noting today for Palantir.
Absolutely, and they have a new tie-up today, Brendo, with GE Aerospace. Just before I get into that, guys, Iraqi oil minister says we've decided to continue producing crude oil at a level of 1.4 million barrels per day. That's being reported by the Iraqi state news agency, so something to keep an eye out there for oil. But yeah, Brendo, so AIP in focus, and so is this Palantir and GE Aerospace tie-up. They announced an expansion of their partnership to deploy advanced artificial intelligence solutions for military operations. It's going to be a multi-year deal. The company said the goal here is to deploy agentic AI systems capable of automating repetitive workflows. They're going to allow engineers and maintenance teams to focus on other things. I'm sure we'll get more on this probably today at AIP.
Yeah, there will be a keynote again at some point. Adara will keep an ear on that. I just brought up XLE here just to see if we were moving around at all for energy on that Iraqi note, but it doesn't seem to be affecting things too much. I mean, 1.4 million barrels drop in the bucket, I guess, on the grand scale, guys.
Yeah, more supply, it would seem, being injected.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to go a little to the downside. I believe oil there. You're still in your UI path.
Yeah, I don't think the position board's working.
No, it's not working. We know the position board. It'll get working. It'll be up by market open. I think we got to get Fabian in here to figure that out. But yeah, just to the point on Palantir. I mean, it's always nice when they start, having these conferences and they can sort of demonstrate some of the, use cases there. We just talked to that. Sharif just mentioned there about GE Aerospace. So again, another name there. Plus we have the department, you say the Naval Department here as well. Palantir, to me, it was this bigger one here. NVIDIA and Palantir are collaborating to create a sovereign AI operating system. So Palantir, that's a check mark, in my opinion. NVIDIA, that's 3 or 4 check marks. So, and they're collaborating. I like, I like that. I have to, tell everybody, obviously, I even have a hat over here that says Palantir Investor. So I really like that. And shout out to Prad. He's the guy that got me that hat. But I like this 149 to 150 area for possible dip buys. I mean, it's hard not to look at this and understand that there's dip buyers, right? I mean, we absolutely made a huge move. Not huge, but 150, the biggest one of the day, 153, right down to 150 and stopped, and then went right back to the upside. Did a very similar thing here when we gapped down that morning and then ripped back to that high side. So it was like a gap down, hold, rip up, gap back down, hold again, and then we start to go. So I know it's only a 5-minute chart, but I think Palantir is something there. And even if you go to the daily chart, that's the same level. So if you're going to zoom in and have a quick little look at PLTR, it reminds me of that. What did we do with this? We did this on the SPY, right? When it looked like we were potentially going lower. Well, Palantir has a holding spot there with good news. The conference is going on here today. It's 9th ever AIPC Con. So that's happening today, Thursday, March the 12th. So we'll be able to hear little tidbits drop throughout the day. And it's not even about Palantir, really. It's more about sort of the other names sometimes that get announced instead of Palantir, right? Like deals with Palantir. But for me, the deal that they've made there with NVIDIA is the one. And only being down 0.38 versus a market that's down 0.7. I'm not super excited to go long, but I think 150, let's call it 149 to 150. That base was 149.50. Worth a look. especially if the market does not have a big move again here today. I mean, yesterday the Nasdaq closed at zeros. Obviously, we had the up and down, but that's what you're trying to find as a trader. You're trying to find those peaks and valleys, and I think we did that in Palantir. And if we can come down into this 149.50, I think it's a long. And you know, you hold out for a break of 149. Like how bad can it be if you take 149.50 with the idea of a possible $4 move higher, and instead you hold that against those lows of 149? 50 cents one way, you know, 400 cents the other. I like the opportunity there for Palantir.
You know, I like that Palantir look as well. Kind of it could go both ways where it's at right now. We saw that. We talked about that pullback down to 126s and a pop into 140s as well. Oil's taking a little bit of a pullback as well right now. I guess we see some there's some news coming about Iran's electricity capacity. Something more about 200,000 barrels per day are being transported via reservoirs through Turkey, Syria, and Jordan. Some strong selling coming in here on oil. Don't know if that's the reason why, based off of that catalyst there, but we'll wait and see. And off of the open is what I'm more concerned about. And again, we talked about this yesterday, and Sean mentioned this as well, where it seems like the stronger news or the stronger price-driving news is coming out in the afternoon this week more often than not. We saw that what was the push towards 124. I think that was on Monday. Gets slammed back in, and then beautiful fade into that 100 or towards that 110 level is what we saw. That was pretty solid as well. But no, I'm looking for some of these levels to hold. Just yesterday, I was talking about those 108s being interesting going into the end of the day, and now we're gapping up above some of those levels. So short-term squeeze, short-term shorts, definitely getting a little bit hit there on that action. So I'm going to continue watching Path and USO coming into the open. Let us know what you guys are watching as well right now. Almost 9 o'clock. The market is pulling back a little bit. We did get those economic numbers a little bit earlier, but nothing really that was market moving. I think we were already kind of looking at that progressive selling that did come in. That 25K mark, I am pretty interested in as well. We keep kind of knocking on the door of it, orbiting that 25K mark. Let's see what the boys are up to at the big desk there.
All right, a few other things to just still keep my eye on this. I mean, it's XLE. It's not necessarily oil. It's energy companies, but not a lot of movement. Again, if you missed that, Iraq coming out saying, or the energy minister at least saying, they're going to maintain production 1.4 million barrels per day, according to the state news agency. So some of the energy producers definitely going to be worth a watch here this morning. None of them, however, we'll get into this more on the watch list, but none of them with a tremendous amount of volume so far this morning. Just dealing with these macro headlines from overnight, but I mean, huge day for all of these yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. Keeping an eye on those, and there was a lot during the midday as well. So we'll definitely keep.
You're muted there.
We'll definitely, there was a lot running during the midday as well, so we'll definitely keep an eye out on that, guys. With respect to this morning, well, let's have a look quickly here at some of the small cap gappers, Brendo. Looks like the biggest one right now, TLYS, but it's a little bit off the highs. Let's take a quick look over here. Breaking down a little bit, this one was moving more in the aftermarket with that $3, $3.10 high, coming back into that 270 area. It's holding VWAP. This one's not a bad look. We'll keep an eye out on this one. But yeah, more information coming out here, Brendo, with respect to some of the comments the Iraqi oil minister is making. He says the tankers targeted on Wednesday did not belong to Iraq and were carrying naphtha. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but not claiming those as well. He says he's also going to sign an agreement regarding oil exports via the Chehayan pipeline, another area I'm not too familiar with. NAFTA, but another way to get oil through, especially such a sensitive area with Hormuz.
North American Free Trade Agreement?
I don't think so.
Probably not. BlackRock, you and I were talking about this before we came on at 8 o'clock, back to the lows essentially right now. I just saw for the pre-market anyways, but still off of this, 925 going back to a couple of days ago. this private credit situation getting a little bit sticky. JP Morgan getting caught up in this as well. Worth noting, BlackRock actually just coming out saying Hormuz oil shock likely short-lived as well. So they seem to think this might pass quickly, but I mean, on the credit side of things, not necessarily.
Yeah, Blue Owl in focus again. And as you mentioned, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, they're all caught up in this private credit situation today. It's Blue Owl. Investment firm Glendon Capital Management is warning that private credit funds run by Blue Owl and peers may be understating loan losses. That is according to a report or printed by the Financial Times. The criticism does focus on how loans are valued inside of Blue Owl Capitals, which is one of the largest credit funds with roughly about $17 billion in assets. So Glendon here is suggesting that the market price for similar debt instruments are lower than the valuations used in the private portfolios, which of course raises concerns about actual losses. So more of this story with respect to private credit. And we saw BlackRock also on the receiving end of that last week.
Yeah, JP Morgan tied up in the Oracle debt side of things as well. So who knows how that's going to play out. This has been probably a 15-minute or more interview by now, but Perplexity CEO is still on Squawk Box right now on CNBC. May have to play that back a little bit later and see what he has to say.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy.
Arvind guy, yeah.
Let's talk about the market.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick look at where we closed out yesterday. Just a little bit below where we closed out on Tuesday, guys. So 676, pardon me, and a third is where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. As you can see, we're down 2/3% right now. We are still putting in those lower highs and lower lows, however way you look at this. So we're in a bit of a downtrend. We were consolidated. We were sideways. That is now kind of changed. So here's the deal. We're looking at 670 as our first level of support. If we can hold that $10 area, that'll be aces. If we can move back up, we start catching a bid for whatever reason. We're looking at yesterday's closing print, Brendo, at 676 and a third as resistance.
Just seeing as well, I don't know if that feed we have is delayed a little bit, but Alex Karp apparently going to be on Squawk Box as well coming up here in a few minutes. So stand by if you're watching Palantir this morning. Grab that as well. We discussed it a little bit earlier. Description below has the link to the sign-up page. You need an email address, and then you can get that absolutely free every single day right to your inbox. Oil, energy, all sorts of things moving around on this. Once again, this morning, if you zoom out a little bit, it's a 15-minute chart of the futures. Crude futures back to the upside here. We're just below 94 bucks. We got all the way up to 96 yesterday, but yeah, this situation over in the Strait of Hormuz far from settled, it seems.
And Brent touched $100 yesterday again per barrel. 3 additional cargo ships were attacked, sadly, in the Persian Gulf. Iraq minister coming out and saying one of those ships was not his. The incidents occurred, of course, in the energy shipping lanes of the Strait of Hormuz. Authorities reported that 2 oil tankers were struck and left burning near Iraq's port of Qasr, while another container vessel was hit by a projectile near Jebel Ali in the UAE. In response, obviously, to the growing supply risks we saw yesterday, Brendo, the IEA, the International Energy Agency, announced the largest coordinated release of emergency crude reserves in its history. 400 million barrels is what we're talking about. The U.S. is going to contribute 172 million of those 400, and it's expected to go on for at least 120 days. So we'll have to see if this makes a dent at all in some gas prices. Anecdotally, when I left the gym yesterday, so it was about, say, 5-ish, it was 170.9 at the gas station near my house. I woke up this morning, it was 152.9, so I'm not really sure what to make of that.
Like 20-cent swings is the norm now. Just seeing a couple other things here as well. Microsoft rolling out an AI health assistant in a consumer chatbot form. Why? Who knows? Also, Uber launching a new chauffeur ride option targeting corporate and executive travelers. I don't know how that would differ from Uber Black.
Yeah, isn't that the same thing?
Maybe they have actual white gloves on or something, or it's actual not SUVs maybe, or nicer cars.
That woman, being able to choose a woman as a driver seems to be making a lot of waves. One of the Toronto local area sort of accounts that meme and stuff like that was posting about it, and the response to that was pretty exuberant.
Yeah. Thoughts, guys? Lots of stuff going on. Oil, Sean.
Yeah, right now let's talk about this segment, first of all, being sponsored by NextGel. Their ticker is NXGL on the Nasdaq. NextGel develops advanced hydrogel technology used across medical, healthcare, and consumer applications. Their high water content gels are designed for comfort, performance, and next generation healthcare products. To learn more about NextGel and their technology, please go ahead and visit NextGel, NEXGEL.com, nextgel.com. Thank you for them sponsoring this opening rundown. I mean, look, Obi, we keep going back and forth about this whole oil trade. And for me, there's a couple different tools you can use to make this trade happen, right? You can either trade the oil futures, which a lot of you do have access to. If you're just sitting on an equity account, maybe potentially your futures funds are not available, then you can use USO, you could use XLE, you could use OIH, and some of those other ETFs that are, you know, Gush or something like that, that's a 3 or 4X oil play as well. When I'm looking at USO, though, I've already written it down on the sticky note. I'm just finishing up the wording on it, then I'm going to get it out. This is the only real spot for me today to look for potential support is kind of yesterday's top. So that's between 108 to 109. Like, that's the only space I'm going to say, like, I think this is where, you know, if the move comes down, this might be a spot where you might think about buying. Because you know what? The thing is like, do you really want to get caught, you know, playing on technical areas like VWAP or something like that? Because all of a sudden news breaks and then your whole day is either won or lost or made on, you know, breaking headlines. And if you're caught long or going short on VWAP there, you know, that's a great trade there, but then it comes back up and then VWAP is no longer available anymore. But then when things start to settle down and we stop getting sort of those news bombs, that's when you can sort of start to see where dip buyers are coming in, right? These little wick, maybe I zoom in a little bit more here. It's some of these like little wick bottoms here that hit on certain levels, you know, into VWAP, things like that, that can start to print out. So when we look at today, I mean, I didn't even see what it was doing this morning. I was just looking in the past. And then we come over here and the very first example I can give you is already 2 wick bottoms into VWAP. So that's that kind of undercutting, right? Like uppercut, like undercutting the current price that we talked about before. And so if you come in and you make a move and then you bounce off that level, that's when you say, okay, we bounced, let's go. And then you take the long off of that and then use your last piece of reference as your out. So like right now, 113.50 is going to be a level, but I mean, honestly, like when this market opens up, it's already open because oil is going right now. But when money comes in probably right away at 9:30, there's going to be market on open imbalances and things like that. You're not going to want to look at that. But as the market starts to open and get going and we have, you know, 20, 30 minutes of data and there's really nothing happening in the oil space and we don't get those news drops, then that's when you want to start to look at some of these kind of plays, right? Like I said, not worth sitting here to take the long because all of a sudden, oh, the straight is open, whoosh. You know, then this is going to go down to like 100. Like this is not the oil. Here, let's just do oil instead. Anyways, just to talk about the right price. You know, that's going to whoosh down to $80 or something like that. You know, if that happens, you're going to get a big move. So there it is, same kind of play. There's into VWAP. There's into VWAP. You take the long on the bounce. I don't think it's worth sitting around and doing anything. Play the news or wait for a move like this and say, oh, there's the bounce and try to take it to the long side. So for me, it's trading USO will probably be on the rundown here for myself today. I'm glad it's the #1 stock that we're talking about. Obi probably has some great ideas as well. What's your weapon of choice today?
I guess I was looking at this XLE, but my choice is definitely going to be USO. But strong bid on this XLE yesterday. You can see strong push off of the open, and then tight bidding with relatively less muted selling. We closed pretty much at the highs there on XLE. Bit of a range over the past couple of weeks here as well, from like 57s to 55s. Bounce, 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 bounce. So yeah, could be watching this one as well. Maybe I'll throw up some alerts there as well. But I do like USO here. Now again, I'm gonna sit on my hands. I do like that this broke out of this level. Look, double. I don't know if you want to call it a double top, but a bit of a resistance there coming in on Tuesday around 110s, and then that steps down a little bit lower onto 108s. And after hours, pre-market, we're trading well above this. So I really like this area right here on Monday where we had that day one strong selling. So I think in terms of levels, I already have them marked out here, Sean. You can see that these are levels that I was interested in on Monday, Tuesday. I didn't mark anything from yesterday because we were within that bit of a range there. But if I were to mark some more levels here now, these levels could mean absolutely nothing at the same time. Right? If news comes out, it's not going to care about some sort of a level that was marked on Monday or Tuesday. If there's a sentiment shift, people will potentially be positioning in slightly differently. So it's like, okay, fine. I'm going to use these as like guardrails, as just indicators. And if it's following the indicator, I like it better. But if it's not, then I just throw it out the window. Right? That's usually how I deal with my indicators as well. Interestingly enough, the strong bid that we got off open into that 24 on Monday. Look at that volume bar. Towers over even some of the opening bars there as well. So I dropped that anchored onto there. We attempted to touch it a few times yesterday pre-market, prior day in the after hours, and then during the middle of the day going into the end of the day as well. And we finally kind of look at the action that comes in when we break out of said resistance, short-term resistance there on USO. So I like this, kind of just knocking against some of these Monday levels at the same time.
I do want to say what's up to Bhavin here, because you guys would note right here, thank you, Bhavin. What was that level that we talked about on Orbs? 105? You know, I mean, Obi, we sat here and said you could take 105 all day, give it to 1. If it breaks 1, you gone. That's 5 cents worth of risk. Welcome to 6 times the gain on a one-time risk. So 5 cents there for 30 cents this way. Well, I guess it's 25 cents, 5 times R to R right there. So I know Sharif is looking for some of these. I just gave you one right there. Long at 105, up there to 130. I mean, I have no idea it's going to 130, but if you are still in, there's that ratio. And I know that's something that we talk about, especially on the midday. I don't look at ratios too much, except for the first trade. Like, so if you're going to go 1 to 1, take half out for that, or 2 to 1, and then you can hold. And it looks like Orbs right here gave you that exact trade at 105. Look, sometimes, like we said yesterday, the clock is right 2 times a day, and at least I'm right 1 time so far. So we'll have to watch out for Orbs. I don't have it, but I know that some of you do. Mike, Peter Ryder, and everybody in the chat loving this name right now. So good call out early. BMNR, Bitmine, and Kathy Wood pumping about 125 million into ORBS. But do your own due diligence. It looks like it's a good one here today. Orbs, 8Co.
All right on cue, Alex Karp live on CNBC here as we start talking about Palantir. There's already been one announcement, I guess, pre this event today. Palantir announcing with NVIDIA sovereign AI OS reference architecture with NVIDIA, which delivers customers a turnkey AI data center from hardware procurement to application development. So again, Alex Karp live right now from the, I guess, arena or theater that they're going to be having this event in today. So a nice little uptick already here for Palantir.
That hair. He always looks like a
wild
mad scientist. I got God love him. All right, that's obviously a really good headline as well, because we've been seeing sovereign AI really boom, especially in the Middle East. So the one that I'm going to cover today is the partnership that they announced with GE Aerospace. Essentially, they're going to integrate Palantir's AIP platform across all of GE Aerospace supply and operational systems. The goal here is to deploy agentic AI systems capable of automating repetitive workflows. The system is expected to improve aircraft availability and maintenance turnaround times. Those are 2 critical metrics for defense operations. The expanded collaboration as well follows a recent U.S. defense contract where GE Aerospace actually selected Palantir to improve the readiness of the Air Force's T-38 training aircraft. And defense contracts remain Palantir's one of Palantir's, fastest growing segments.
The live stream scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. this morning, so there's a good chance we might get even more announcements prior to that, but we'll keep an eye on anything that comes through, guys.
We wanted to make sure that we had told Alex Karp to wait until we discussed it to get onto CNBC there, because we didn't want to get front run this play. But no, I written it down. I'm just getting the sticky note out right now. And it was just about trying to get Palantir long into that 149 area. So I think I'll pass it over to Obi quickly because I've already sort of talked about this, but I thought that a dip buy into here would be something to do. We've seen so many times when these conferences are on, there's announcements of, new business model or new business directions, areas that we might not have thought about. We already know that Palantir is big, obviously, into defense contracts and that spending side of it deals with the Navy, the Army, U.S. border control, big contracts in Israel as well. We know what's happening on that side of the world as immigration's going to, be the talk of the town. Throughout, the presidency as well. They do have, border security, as we just mentioned there. It's a reason why I like Big Bear AI as well. But yeah, for right now, Palantir and the drones, that's another talk there. As we get smarter with our sort of the way, war or conflict is resolved right now. And I think Palantir can continue to be a big part of that. So I really like Palantir. However, I am nervous, and I've already said this today, about the market. The number one trade idea on the note is going to be a short to Nasdaq. So it's hard to say like I'm loving Palantir long, but that 149.50 to me looks okay. Are you looking at any high sides? Because I think there's going to be a possible for a short today as well. But I'll pass it over to Obi and see your initial thoughts, if it's even on your radar today.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Every now and then during the day, I will pull up Palantir just to see what it's up to. What I find more interesting here, Sean, is that we did get up to that 161 on Friday, so end of day push there on Palantir, and we've been making lower highs, kind of consolidating near some of these support levels from last week and this week as well. Here back down into those 150. So I want to see this 150. If it can sustainably hold below 150, I do like that idea, as we've been making lower highs into that 150 mark there. So I don't know if I would really call it a clean kind of bouncy ball, but it's just. I like this 150. I think if I'm going to start looking at it, it'll definitely be in and around this 150 if it can distinctly get below it. But as of right now, it's been support, 4 times in the past couple of weeks, maybe even 5 times if you count this day here, with a strong bid coming into and through that 150 on Palantir. So yeah, 150 key level for me.
Let's go on to Tesla. Back downside right now, but we had a nice little pop early on this morning on an optimist note we'll get to in a sec. This is on the back of what happened yesterday. Pretty good day, actually, even with the pullback that we had yesterday on the China numbers. Initial move was huge, and then we come all the way back to about 50% of that. But Optimus Gen 3 coming pretty quick here.
Look, Brendo, I'm as excited as the next guy. I know you're excited as well, but my excitement was tempered by that Mark Benioff video that I was telling you off camera about. It didn't look good, okay? It was super laggy. It didn't really understand. It couldn't connect to the internet either, so it was super limited. Now, in fairness, there are multiple versions, according to this report, of the Gen 3. And accordingly, we're supposed to get the latest version. So Elon saying the Optimus humanoid robot is nearing the final development stages and could become the most advanced robot ever built. Always a guy ready for hyperbole. Musk said initial production could begin in the summer of this year, though early volume is expected to be limited as Tesla scales manufacturing. High volume production is targeted for 27. He also hinted that the robot could be released publicly after early production ramps. They recently also teased a video of Optimus Gen 3 robot in the Shanghai conference, the 2026 Appliance and Electronics World Expo. Reports are suggesting that the version displayed in China differs than the one in the Benioff video. So if that's the case, I'm pumped. Apparently it was well received in China.
Lots of videos floating around of competition or potential competition for Tesla's Optimus as well that are already seemingly out in the world.
Oh yeah.
I was reading about this is specifically made for manufacturing and factories and bigger work, but the Hyundai, I think, it makes it, but it's there was a comparison I saw of Optimus versus this Hyundai version of their robot, and it was about $150,000 or something along those lines, and it only lasted like 4 hours. But it was designed for lifting heavy things and doing, more cumbersome, I guess,
Sure.
things than Optimus will be, but it seemed way too expensive.
Like a warehouse
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
What's interesting here is you feel like the Chinese are ahead when it comes to the mechanics. Like, I don't know if you remember the Lunar New Year of 25 versus Lunar New Year celebrations this year. The robots that they displayed last year looked anemic
Right.
compared to the robots they displayed this year. But that all is the mechanics. I think for me anyway, what will come down to is the brain and the AI capabilities
Yeah.
that it has.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I feel like maybe the American's still a little bit ahead in that.
And I think in Elon's case, as Grok gets better, these will
Exactly.
get better.
Exactly.
So, Tesla though still holding higher, guys, from yesterday.
So I like the Tesla trade. I think it's one of those things where you really want to get on the back of momentum, right? And it does have crazy moves as the market opens up. Like pretty much all like yesterday. This was just on talk of better than expected Chinese deliveries, I guess, or sales, and just boom, like crazy upside there. And I think there is an upside trade to Tesla too, although I think oil is an important aspect when we're looking at Tesla, not so much now as it was in the past, as people already know sort of the advantages of EV versus combustible and so on and so forth in this environment. But I don't know if that has anything to do with that sort of spike up there, but this is what Tesla can do, man, and then it bases out and then goes again. So I'm gonna try to do something like that. Today, because I'm thinking downside in the market, I just wonder about this real early break of 406 to the downside. If we lose the pre-market hold here, which it's close, it's only $1 here, it's at 407 right now, then potentially it doesn't find a bid, I don't think, until, like that's 405, so that's only $1. I mean, then 404 would be that low. So if you took like 25% out there, 25% out here, and the market really gave it up, then you probably are going to revisit 400, and then everything's in your pocket. So if you go short this trade, 406.50 basically, I think it's 250, maybe $2, then $3, and then downside. And that just gives you your out, where I would think a decent out would be, even if you're right into here, 407 to 408, like this could be your stop. So I think it's worth it on the short side for Tesla. I mean, look what the market's doing. But remember, in just 5 minutes, we're going to get those imbalances again. So although Tesla's not down as much as the market, I'm just really not proud. But, when we came on at 8 o'clock, which is right here, I was saying short, the market. And now it's starting to go down. So I do feel a little bit of FOMO that we've maybe missed a little bit of this move. But Iran's supreme leader right now is talking. And apparently creating some oil scarcity right now. So he is saying right now that I'm hearing, the supreme leader, which I believe is the sun, right, is now saying that he believes the strait should remain closed. That's the story that I'm hearing right now, which I
Trump
think
also posted on Truth Social.
Did he? Okay,
Yeah,
so
he said, well, I'm just reading it off here. He said that the United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far. So when oil goes up, we make a lot of money. But of far greater interest and importance to me as president is stopping an evil empire, Iran, from having nuclear weapons, and show more, destroying the Middle East, indeed the world. I won't ever let that happen. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And he signed off, obviously, as President Donald J. Trump there. And as soon as I saw that coming up, oil spiked through that 150, or USO spiked through that 115, 116s now. So we are getting back up into some of those levels. I talked about that 119 was Monday's open. Could be interesting if we kind of breach some of those levels as well on oil. When it comes to Tesla, again, very strong opening drive yesterday, but sold off a decent chunk of it. So I'm going to continue watching this one. It's showing some signs of strength over the past few days here. You can see all the way down from 381s, leg consolidation, leg on this one. We'll see how these legs kind of continue or not on the day-to-day. Again, market dependent as well. Being a large cap, being a Mag 7, being one with a pretty decent beta, which follows the market every now and then, I'm going to be watching the market as well. You can see the market's kind of continuing to sell off there as oil picks up the bid. Tesla also coming in with a little bit of selling. So I want to see, unless and until there's a break in that you know, the beta there, however you want to call that, Tesla's going to be a little bit interesting if it does do that there.
Just I was just confirming that as well. A couple people in the chat mentioning that this was just a read statement from the Supreme Leader. It was not an actual speech, which for obvious reasons was just a speech. So, I mean, there was rumors floating around late in the day yesterday that people don't even really know if he's all right. I was reading that he was injured in the initial attack, but I mean, there's still more comments coming through here. So yeah, oil moving around. Let's get to Bumble here. We're getting on in time. BMBL still an absolute disaster of a stock, but got to start somewhere if you're going to make a comeback. Back to 360 here. Session high is almost coming in right now.
Absolutely. A lot of good here, but you know, when you compare it to year over year, it's a little bit more tempered. Let's talk about it. Q4 revenue, $224.17 million. That's up about 1% year over year, slightly ahead of estimates. EPS, 26 pennies, beating the 24 and rising from 22 pennies a year ago. Modest revenue growth here and cost discipline, though user growth metrics kind of remain mixed. Let's talk a little bit about that. So we'll just go right down to their revenue mix and monetization and show you exactly how each app is doing. So they got a couple of apps here that they rely on. Badu, the first one here, app revenue came in at $43.2 million. That missed expectations and also declined 14.2% year over year. The Bumble app revenue, though, that rose substantially, $181 million from 179, though declined again 14.8% from the previous year. Average revenue per paying user across the company reached about $22.20. That is slightly ahead of expectations. The fact that we're up 20% makes me feel like analysts in the market in general were really looking at this to continue its slide. It didn't slide as aggressively, and you know, because some of these numbers, they're not that great.
Yeah.
But the reaction of the market is quite good.
I think anything is better than nothing at this point for this company, but about to take out the highs right now, guys, for Bumble.
You were looking at Bumble. I just got to get Adara wants some shorts in BlackRock here today. So get ready for that one. We actually talked about Adara last night, starting to get the trading going as she's been doing. So I'm going to do that, and we already sort of talked about Bumble and where that stock has been coming from. But a nice upside day today with, I think it's 22% short float.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a bit of a disconnect and doing its own thing, doing over 400 times relative volume here in the pre-market session to start off with. Now we've kind of dwindled down to about 200 times. Still relatively decent amount of volume being done on this one in the pre-market session. You can see strong bid off of that earnings report consolidation and trying to push some of those highs coming into the open. Only about 4 minutes left here on Bumble, but I'll continue to watch this one. Any sort of midday or after the first 15 minutes, I might tackle some Bumble after that. We'll wait and see. But I like the strength that it's showing. It does have a lot of headwind. We did look at the higher time frame chart here. You can see a lot of headwind right here. Multiple weeks of resistance around 380, and that's only about 15-20 pennies away from some of those highs. Look at all those top wicks, absolute craziness. If we can get past this 390, then I might like it a little bit better, but gapping up into some resistance on Bumble. Wow, there's some size on Path getting taken out right there. I stopped out and then it started to come right back in. So Path on a path of the downside.
Yeah. Just real quickly, and then we'll go over to that last story because we do have the PAYP, PayMe IPO coming today. So this is just a quick look to see if there's anything popping off here right now. There's your UI path. That's starting to go to the downside with a 400K sell imbalance. SCO there, that's going to be something to look at. We talked about that the other day. Sable, Offshore, a lot of traders looking at that. There's USO with a small little buy. Obviously, it's done 5 million shares with only 190,000 on the bid right there. And then nothing else, man. There's no major Nasdaq names on here, despite the Nasdaq giving us the impression that there is, with a little bit of an upside move right there. All right, let's go get a couple details about the PAYP IPO. We'll talk about if we're going to trade it or not, and then we'll get ready to ring this opening bell.
PAYP to come today. That's Bumble. Nothing to look at. Obviously, it's an IPO for PAYP. I think there's going to be some PYPL references down the road, even though that's not even really a thing anymore. But yeah, PAYP coming today.
Let's talk about this one, Brendo. So the IPO price was $16 a share, notably below the original target, which was 17 to 20. Valuation at this price valued about 10.7 billion. So not a small company here, guys. Significantly lower though than the $20 billion figure that SoftBank Masayoshi-san was reportedly pushing for earlier this year. The offering raised about $880 million through the sale of about 55 million ADRs. This is an ADR, guys, American Depository Receipt. Anchor investors. We got heavyweights like Visa, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, Qatar Sovereign Wealth Fund, all committing about 220 million bucks combined.
I can't stop looking at Bumble. It's still like just absolutely ripping right now. Thoughts on this IPO, guys?
Right now, Palantir is ripping to the upside, but yeah, we have the numbers up there, but PAYP PAYP. PayPay. We're going to keep it updated here for you guys as the market opens. Right now, there is no, tap there, so there's no market on open. It is going to be a Nasdaq name. They haven't come through until about between 12 to 1:30 possibly. So something to look at. We just wanted to make sure it was on everybody's radar. So thanks, Brendan, for putting it up there. It's also on my radar here today, PAYP. And then there's the IPO calendar that you have with a couple different data points there. Yeah, 1.3 billion. Let's go over to
1.26 billion here, and again, SEC filing. This is their F1 here. Just looking at some of the underwriters here: Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Mizuho, Morgan Stanley. Some of the big boys there. Now this is in apparently in alphabetical order, but yeah, the smaller you can see those are the top ones. Smaller ones there, pretty interesting as well. Good luck to everyone here off of the open. I'm going to be watching that path, catching a bit of a bid, and Bumble as well.
Yeah, here we go. We are now open. So welcome, everybody. Yeah, that opened real quick on us right there. So Nasdaq opens up down 0.8%. The ES opens up right now down 0.8% as both names getting to the downside here. But as we've seen many times, there goes a move to the upside right now. And oh boy, Obi, there goes Palantir up to 155. Wow, what a monster, man. We talked about this one, that AIPCon is there. We are talking about it. Alex Karp is all over the place now. And you can see a nice little movement to the high side there for PLTR. About that 149.50 or so dip buy opportunity, not yet for Palantir. Market goes up and goes down. We said that we would look for that Tesla break of 406.50. That's a good one there, but of course happens little pre-market. But there's that 406.50 right into 404 as we called. That might be a little dip buy opportunity as well. So yeah, that's what we're doing. ORBS. Okay, there we go. It's open now, the position board. So that's good. Orbs just lost 105 right there off open. As we said, wait until you get the market to open up. You'll get some real big sell volume come through. But 130 was a nice touch. Watch out for this bid here to come in and around this 90-cent mark. Kathy Wood, A Company investors here. Market coming back just a little bit. Tesla might get close to that $400 mark pretty soon.
Yeah, that path, I guess that came in, took a little bit of a chop on there. I was like, okay, maybe those 70s get cracked, but swipes right back up into 11s, maybe some resistance there. VWAP coming in and around those 11s as well. A lot of size kind of showing up on top of those 70s, so we'll see if that guy gets taken out. There's 390 on Bumble, so we'll see if this can kind of actually break.
How much is that up to
get up to 4 there.
20.
So we opened up from 3.7s to about 3.9s, up about 35, almost 36% here, Sean, on the day. So looking interesting. We'll see if this one comes into fruition as well. There goes path coming right back down. So GG's on the first try. Market's pulling right back in as well. Let's see what else is going on here. So
I mean, Morgan Stanley is at 6-month lows. Morgan Stanley down 4% right now and getting absolutely crushed. Right now, as people worried about private equity, loan losses, everything like that. It's Morgan Stanley that's getting wood shedded today to that downside. A lot of the banks, same kind of situation, but it's Morgan down 4.5 right there. It's Palantir that just made a move to 155 and back into VWAP 152 and change. Almost getting ready to pull the trigger, but it's so early. Every time I do this, the first trade is GG, as you just mentioned, Obi. But for right now, it's Palantir time. I like this stock. We're going to go over to Adair and see if there's an opening story here.
Well, no, I was just going to mention here with Morgan Stanley, because you brought it up, I wanted to add, so they are actually the latest following BLK and JPM to restrict redemptions at their private credit fund. So that was as of this morning. No, really not much pre-market volume on this, but obviously dropping off the open. That's the deal with Morgan Stanley. Just wanted to address it in more detail, Sean, because you mentioned it. Economic data right now, I'm not seeing any. At 11 a.m., we will get Fed's Bowman. And at 10 a.m., we're supposed to be getting the start of that AIP conference. Last year, it was actually much later in the day, and there was a lot of, pre-banter before we had the keynote. So I'm not expecting the keynote speech from Alex Karp right at 10, but of course, anything can happen or change. I'll keep you guys posted once that stream opens up, which again, we're expecting around 10 a.m. Back to you.
Hey, Miss Adair, everybody. Thank you so much for that. And that jacket is hot fire. I love that jacket. That's a great looking jacket there. So, okay. Yeah, we did miss that opportunity to get into VWAP right there at 153. Now you're at 154. So we do know this is the way it goes, man. This is a fast mover here. It is Palantir. Tesla does... I feel like the Italian, you guys see the Italian a baseball team, they hit the home runs and they're like, hey, they crushed Mexico yesterday. And you're welcome, United States, for Italy winning that game and putting you guys into the second round of the WBC. That's crazy that they almost didn't make it. I cannot believe that. All right, market right back there to the upside. Tesla, what a good bounce, man. Right at those levels that we had mentioned, possible there. Right on your 50 period, sorry, your 200 period moving average of 405. We'll see if that wants to get going there. 403.50, nice downside. I can't even look at the chat because everyone's American. So if I start saying something bad, it's not going to be good. So I'm just playing around. Obviously, we need some content over here. The WBC has been awesome to watch. And it's actually Canada. Uh-oh, this is where it's going to get bad. It's Canada versus U.S. in round one of the quarterfinals. So that's going to be an oh boy situation. Come on, man. You already beat us in hockey, man. Take it easy over here. Okay, there's Tesla going. Palantir really trying to take out the top. Not trying to, is taking out the top. So my hat's off to you, Alex Karp, as you continue to win right now. And I know it's been a downside drift for Palantir, but what a great bottom that was around that 1.25 mark right now. All right, I'm not into anything, and I'm getting antsy, but sitting on your hands is also a trade. We are getting into VWAP right now on the Nasdaq. I do think short today, so I don't think there's anything wrong with me making a play. I wrote down $49 on here where the 200 period was at that time, and I never know what's going to happen in the pre-market, so I just use the levels that I see then, but now we can use 48.70 or so as a possible area for us on the TQQs. But I think it's best to maybe wait for that play to come through. So maybe a little starting here at VWAP, and then we'll give it a shot as the market is sort of maturing up right now. Now, VWAP might not be enough. I'm actually going to wait for this 48.60. Maybe we do get a bump up there, and we can put on some real shares.
Wow, look at this Bumble go. This Bumble is absolutely crazy. I'm here trying to get, getting a little chopped up here on path, finally kind of working there. But Bumble through that $4, 20 pennies past that $4. Talk about a call out that I didn't even take myself. So definitely GG's on that one as well. So we'll wait and see. Well, path though, I like this kind of that size kind of coming up. Size also getting taken out on the ask as well. So I do like that a lot. We'll wait and see if this one comes into fruition here as we trade back up into 1120s, 1123s. We've already been here in the pre-market session, but I do like that. Again, it's an SSR name, kind of struggling to sell off here. So we'll wait and see if it comes into fruition. But I want to see a hold above the quarter there. There's a little bit of a pullback on Bumble as well. What's the high that we hit? I guess high of a 425 on Bumble there. So one to continue to keep eyes on. I want to see a hold above that 380, 380s, 390s is what I said. And it definitely did. And it gave you about 30, almost 40 pennies on the run up off of the open. So beautiful, beautiful price action on that Bumble off of open.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to like a different playbook now because none of these levels are really hitting again. Like we could short the TQs there. There's lots of stuff we could wind up doing. But okay, let's go to Adair and we'll come back.
Keep an eye here on oil and on the market. We're seeing comments from the new supreme leader of Iran, Khamenei, saying that, quote, Iran won't forgo vengeance for those who have been killed. So looks like there could be more Middle East tensions after these comments from the new supreme leader of Iran. Back to you.
Okay. Yeah, interesting there. I just called up USO right here. We can also check. I don't know. I should just have oil. I should just have oil up somewhere as a chart. That's for sure. Just as you had mentioned, though, screen time space, interesting and valuable. Okay, there it goes. What do you got on board right now? UiPath.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you're long on UiPath, and I just want to look at oil here. It's coming back into the 50-period moving average on what I thought was bullish talk for oil there, but it is coming back down. So you got to be very, very careful with that. And as oil comes down a little bit, you could see the market trying to get back to the upside. So I'm actually waiting now at 48.60 to see about a short here on the TQQs. But what you got going on over there on UI?
This path, again, we're getting, sprays into the ask there. There's a first kind of selling that I'm seeing. We'll see if that comes in. I do have to be kind of nimble. You guys seeing what I'm doing with this over here. So I do have to stay a little bit nimble. Kind of pieced out of a decent chunk there. I did get really aggressive here on that second entry. And then we'll see if that one holds here, only holding a little bit of the position now. I guess about, 10%, yeah. So roughly in and around there. We'll see if it can hold the quarters. I guess that's what I was looking for. 11.25s. If that holds well, then I'm going to continue to stay interested in this one. But that Bumble, that was the one to have as a, crazy move. Talk about 390s to $4 to 410s to 420s. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful opening drive on this one. Maybe we're getting the backside, but I don't want to necessarily touch this one short. Maybe for a scalp down into VWAP, because that's sitting above 390s. But again, pointed out that weekly level on Bumble. Let's pull it up right here. I still have it on. This was that level right here. Look at that multi-week breakout. I like daily breakouts, I like weekly breakouts, I like monthly breakouts, as well as breakdowns as well. And this was a classic example of a multi-week resistance, gapping up into resistance, and then breaking out of that level here. Ultimate double top highs in and around 390s, and that gives you, I guess, well, if you want to measure off of these highs, let's see what that gave you right there. About 8%, almost 8.5% of a move to the upside on a $4 stock. We've already done about almost 9 million shares traded on Bumble. Definitely buzzing.
Yeah, there's what I meant to get to there before we went to the oil story there was I'm just going to try to play off VWAP now on Palantir. I mean, it's definitely a strong name. If we do dip by, let's do it at VWAP. So between 154 to 153 is an area for me that I'm looking at right now. So we'll be able to figure out if it gets into there. That'll be my first trade. And normally I'm in more at this point, and I can't. Trying to be specific here because yesterday at this time, we started to short oil and then it was wrong and it just kept on ripping my face off all morning, and that was not great. So trying to be specific here. Here's Bitcoin, 70,000. Not much, again, happening over here on BTC. Very specific to the different spaces today. SoFi and some of these bank names, 850. Oh, what happened? I thought maybe Mitch was supposed to come today. Maybe didn't. Maybe tomorrow. I want to talk to him about SoFi because look at this name, man. Wow, boom. Right there to the upside. A nice little level for SoFi forming out now in and around this $18 mark. Looking like it could get longer here off of those bids. So we'll see if SoFi wants to hold down here. Nice play to the upside. I think the move down to Morgan Stanley is probably too much. Wow, as soon as I say that, of course, now it's only down 3%. Was down 4% at the lows. We might have missed that Nasdaq short. I didn't. It was a little early, but I think now that we see VWAP and it's trying to hold right there, that's probably a good trade. It's too bad because, as I said, more aggressive we had been in the morning. We normally have this short, hitting VWAP, giving us topping tail candles. So I do like it. Let's put on a unit or two there if it does come back into VWAP. But it's looking like we're breaking lower. Sometimes you can play momentum, Obi. You don't have to wait for something. You play the move to the downside, and what we figured out after that. So it's looking like right now TQs might be that break. So we'll wait for VWAP if it can come in, but maybe a break of 48 as we get aggressive here on the TQQs.
Yeah, funny enough. So I got, that's on NY. Let's look back at that path. So I got triggered in, sometimes just a little bit of a luck there. So if you guys remember, I was short in the pre-market above these levels, and I was like, I definitely don't want to be long above that 1130 that script was still in there, Sean. So it added to the position I was already in.
Okay,
I was piecing off. I was like, all right, cool. And then instantly 20 pennies from 1130s to 1150s now blasting off. Talk about a squeeze there. So I did flip bias, and we talked about this in the morning session, kind of being a little bit nimble, being slightly malleable on your bias there. I was short coming in off of the open. I got blasted. Not really that blasted, but definitely took a little bit of a hit there on this short, because I was like, okay, 77's coming in. But guess what? I observed, held bid, couldn't break through it, then size coming up on the ask. Don't forget it's SSR, and then that size just getting slapped out of the way. I'm like, okay, I got to get long into or through that 11, and it got long above that 11. Now we're squeezing 1161s here on path. So absolutely crazy. Let's measure some of those extensions or some of those legs that are looking absolutely beautiful right now. So if that 11, I mean, this was a bit of a trend break as well, right? Talk about reversion. I love those as well. So yeah, right here, just a simple trend line. Let's kind of start from here. You can see that trend line broken going into 11. That's why I liked the short if we were going to continue. I liked being short in the pre-market session as well, just because of what I was seeing. Understanding that the SSR mechanic doesn't really come into play until the market open, and then sellers definitely very dominant here. Now we're retracing some of these levels. Imagine if we get past this 1197 high, and we're making a beeline towards some of those highs right now, 1167s here, so absolutely crazy kind of price action. But this is a beautiful thing. This is the kind of Momo I'm looking for, and I'm going to stay involved with the Momo until the Momo is no mo.
No mo Momo? Okay, well, let's hope for Momo then as we get going to the upside. We have a new position right now. It's Palantir. So we said that we would take, I don't know why that's on 10. All right, so right into VWAP there again, 153.50. I'm just going to hold this to 153, very, very tight stop. Both trades coming in right now. It's Tesla at a tight stop of 404. I actually got to put this in right down there. Let's go 403 bottom on this one, 402.99. Let's not like struggle bus with this entry. Let's make sure that it's the right one. Yeah, just trying to move my watt out of the way here. I don't want to get stopped. Like, I know the market's moving in. I mean, we wanted to go short, right? But that's, yeah, okay. So 403, that's going to be a good level. 402.99, we will exit out of that one. And Palantir, as quick as we're in, we're out. So there comes right back. Shoot. Nice move there, man. I mean, we had saw this Nasdaq play. We had seen it there at VWAP. We actually even mentioned potentially joining this move right there. Tesla will probably get squashed, but it's actually holding out okay. It's Palantir that just came into 152.50 right now. Okay, here comes Tesla. Nice move back lower there. Too bad, man, because we really did like that short in the market and just missed it off VWAP, trying to wait. See, sometimes it's like, I feel like you sometimes got to do the same thing regardless of what's been happening the last couple of times. I know we always talk about adapting your styles, but that VWAP trade has been in our pocket for a long time. And, you know, sitting here trading the Qs in the Nasdaq, we should have definitely hit that futures trade right there. All right, we'll just average in here. We're down 30 cents. We did get that good Tesla bottom take. So maybe if the market battles from here, we do have a nice upside take here, potential for Tesla. You know, again, maybe we'll lose 80 cents here if it breaks below 403, but that is the low of the day. And I think it's worth taking a little bit of a shot right now as we do average into it. So as you can see, we're in right now at 403.87 now to the downside. So potential look right here, right now on Tesla. It looks like it may want to break. And look, Palantir, I don't know if they said something. Obviously, it's following the market, but you're all the way down too on PLTR. Probably a much better, not probably, looks like, and there goes Tesla. A much better dip buy opportunity here at 151 on PLTR. I'm going to give that a go as well. But yeah, with news in Palantir, I think there's a chance this name might want to get to the upside. Oh, okay, and there's the drop down again. So nothing holding out right now. Look at this out. Holy crap. Like, that's why if you don't have an out, you don't have anything. There goes Palantir. There goes, see, look at that out on Palantir too. Looks like we're going to get a little exposed to the longs right now, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but we are into Palantir. Let's see what winds up happening into the low of the morning time right here at PLTR.
Yeah, this market is coming in real hot. right now, Sean. And so I did get out of those last pieces of path. We'll see if it gives me any more opportunities. Wow, yeah, 200 AMD, that could be interesting as well. I talked about this Bumble scalp, didn't really get involved, but take a look at this backside move, absolutely beautiful as well. 411s maybe on the break of that trend, all the way down to 390, so a nice little quick 20 penny scalp on a $4 stock. Yes, please, on that one, definitely swiping right on that kind of price action for sure. Let's see what else is happening. I was watching HIMS. As know, it's been kind of in play over the past few days there. We got that day 3 move yesterday, which was pretty aggressive here as well. This is, I guess we kind of talked about this. Yeah, I have some trend lines that were in from yesterday. Nice little pullback. Maybe it gets back down into anchored VWAP here. Let's see what prior day VWAP is looking like. Wow, look at that, beautiful consolidation in and around there. Definitely following, respecting the market move as well, and strong resistance yesterday as well on this trend break. I kind of tried to scalp this in going into the end of the day as well. Trading a little bit higher today, but if you were just keeping it simple and looking at the pre-market range, the break of pre-market range lows brings you into a good position to kind of look at this, even if you're not taking the breakdown. This little consolidation continuation is pretty nice on HIMS at the same time. NBIS, another one we were watching as well.
What about NBIS?
Yeah, so this one, again, a little bit of selling, nothing too crazy happening on the day today. 106s, back into 106s. So I did mention that this was the range that I was looking at coming into the day here. I definitely, not trading everything that I talked about, but I think I did okay with trading the one I was focused on off of the open there. But this one as well, just looking at that range, I was like, if it comes into these range lows, I kind of might be interested, and you can see what it does with those range lows straight smack alongside with the market. 108.40s was that level. We got to a low of 106.50, so about almost a 2-point run on that one. Let's see what else is going on here. USO, nothing too crazy as of right now. Just a kind of a chop fest. Hey, would you look at that? Would you look at that?
Oh, look at this.
So these are some of the levels that I marked out. Let's go to just like a 5 or a 15-minute chart here to see where those levels are coming from. So opening range low on Monday is what we're knocking against as of right now on USO. So interesting stuff. Let's see if we can get above that. Maybe news-driven catalyst can bring us some volume to get us on that. Thank you very much, Launch 911. For the super chat, caught SPY puts. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome. And anybody that was recommending the short there, good on you. Oops. Bullish, not bearish. We're now $1.50 in the money on this Palantir trade. So we go right back into Greensville. We swing and miss twice. Right there, the first one on Tesla, and this was fine. I mean, we got to take shots. I mean, you never know where that low is going to come into play. And then Palantir, small little trade there at VWAP. We said that we weren't exactly excited about VWAP, but we were excited for a dip buy opportunity into the pre-market low, and we were giving ourselves that room into 150.50 there. So that was a good trade there at 150.150. Blasted to the upside right now. We're just out of half right now, so we have half still on board as we continue to go a little higher here on PLTR. I'll take another piece here at 75, and then we'll be able to see if it goes back up to the upside. Let's hold. Why not? Let's hold for 155. Let's go 154.50, okay? So if we can get something at 154.50, maybe we should do that, and then we'll celebrate. I mean, that would be $3. The amount doesn't matter. We're just looking to see if we can get all the way back up into where we were before the market decided to take a little bit of a dump on that move. All right, big check-in back on Bumble. I know Obi was just looking at it, still bouncing off that $4. Huge move today, up to 420 and reversing right back in. So got to watch out for BMBL on board right there as well. And I mentioned, as Obi was talking there, that AMD had cracked through 2 bills. There goes. Yo, what's up, David? Scott Tomlinson, you would love 154.50. So would I, man. And let's just hold out and see if it gets there. Yeah, AMD, but come on, man. Like, we're not going to get to 154.50 on Palantir unless the market can somehow figure itself out. And right now, downside there, push for AMD, man. I like the name under 200, like for shorts. So now we've broken underneath that $200 mark. Just looking here at some of the charts. I mean, we got to get back up to this 201.50 VWAP before we decide to short it, but not a bad push there for AMD. What's its friend NVIDIA up to as well? I'm going to go check on that Orbs as well. 183.50. So this one might bounce a little bit, but remember what we said already. NVIDIA, there's two things to do. There's two things to do on NVIDIA. That is short this 195 or go long 175. And right now you're literally in the exact middle at 185, trying to battle around with that 50 period moving average. I wrote down Nebius 107 on my sheet as a dip buy opportunity level. Now we're right into 107 right now. So if this market does want to rally, I mean, we gave the bottom of 106.50. Good potential here for Nebius to get going back there to the upside. So I think I like this level. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's a sticky note. We have TQs on here short. Man, that was crazy. Nebius, this area. USO on a dip, if it gets to 109, that's not going to happen. And then, of course, we mention on the sheet Palantir as well. So right now, that's what we're doing. Palantir, a little bit of a kick down a little bit there into 152 again. We've taken out a little more than half. We got some more outs there at 153. So right now, I'd say we're holding 40% of Palantir with a higher look potentially coming. I am going to, Scott, I'm going to go to 154.50. I'm also going to go to 153.50 right now, just where VWAP is. So if we can get a bounce into that, I will offer up there as well. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, I am seeing some more headlines out of the Middle East. 2 drones reportedly targeting an Iraqi army headquarters east of Mosul. So we're getting some drones within Iraq. Also, we did, as I mentioned earlier, new Supreme Leader of Iran was making some comments earlier, seeing one of the comments circulate here. Apparently, he said the Strait of Hormuz will, quote, remain closed. So oil certainly going to remain on watch, as Sean mentioned. No, he's watching this one as well. It is near intraday highs. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I just looked at USO, and we can go over to oil as well. But USO, yeah, as Adara mentioned there, hitting the intraday high level right now. I was saying that my hands were starting to feel cold up in here. I don't know if that's a thing or not. And then I feel now like got this headache. Like I don't know what's brewing over here. I hope we're all feeling okay in and around this space. But drinking lots of water and tell me you're fine. My hands are frozen.
Yeah, they're kind of chilly.
Yeah, so okay, so good, fine. That's probably fine then. All right, man. Yeah, so watching out for USO right there. We looked at a little bit of Bumble. We said we look at ORBS as well. 8Co Holdings, trying to get above $1. Wow, what a good break that's going to be. 103. Maybe we'll just put a bid at 103, man. Breaking through that area gets us long, and then we can use something like this as our out. I mean, I think that's a reasonable opportunity there. We've already been to 130. Nice kick down. We said that once the volume really started to go, most likely seeing a downtick there in orbs, and that's kind of what's happening now. So we could see a 103 break. That would be kind of cool if that came through, 103 and change. So we'll see if that's a play or not for us pretty soon on 8Co Holdings. Still just looking around, man. UPS, I'm hearing, has settled a lawsuit right now with some whistleblowers. That's just coming through now. So downside move here, maybe a nice upside play there. The name that I'm looking for to earnings, which is about a month away now, can you believe this or not, Sharif and Obi, is Meta. Like the big tech earnings are just around the corner. So I want to look at Meta as well, down 1.6% today. Wow, look at this future trade, Obi. Darn it, man. That's a nice downside play right there. And we should have had it on VWAP, and we didn't. Huge move to the downside right now. Well, let's just continue to watch out for some Palantir. But nice move downside right there on the market. Despite Palantir trying to make new highs right now, yeah, the market is an interesting story today, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, you know what this kind of
magnesium
market action reminds me of. I'll pull it up in a second. But absolutely beautiful selling coming in here on the markets. Pretty much you could be short anything. So shout out to one of our viewers who had that SPY puts. Apple, I'm looking at as of right now, some of the most overextended one to the downside, and whenever I see a little bit of overextension, I do like to take a little bit of a closer look at it, and relatively strong on the sell side here. I'm just looking, I guess the next closest one I'm seeing is Tesla now. I guess NVIDIA is catching up as well, but Apple definitely going to be on watch for me. If and when this market does a little bit of a turn, maybe we get a bit of a reversion back into VWAP here as well. But we talked about today being one of those days where you gotta, you gotta be a little bit nimble. You gotta wait for these market moves based off of news. What do you got going on?
No. I didn't mean to interrupt. Tesla was just at $400. I didn't even notice that right now. That's at 400. Palantir's coming up. I am gonna take a piece right now. This is the highest it's been at. It's just bouncing off the 50-period moving average. So we're gonna take a piece out right there as well if we can get. We just took a 152.50. We're gonna take a 153. I know I said we were gonna wait for 153.50, but VWAP pushing down, market getting sick with it right now to the downside. So yeah. Oh, I'm frustrated a little bit, Obi, because we had that short, man, and we just didn't pull said trigger.
That's the one I always think of. Whenever the
I know, I've seen that one before. Elmo?
This is one of my favorite.
It's like
memes.
the worst Elmo thing, though. That's like doesn't even look like Elmo. Look at those arms, man. Hit the gym.
I love this. I mean, Elmo's always been a little bit. You don't underestimate the Elmo there.
Oh no, definitely not underestimating Elmo.
So I really like this this meme here. What do you think about this?
I guess that's
meme?
not mine, Randy.
Look at the market here. Boom, straight down. So yeah. So the market's straight down.
Look at it. Do you see his little meme over there?
Yeah.
Man, I used to have a, what were those Elmos called? Oh, Tickle Me
Elmo. Yeah, those things made a
kids
dent.
had one of those. Yeah, that was
a great product.
Man, you ever? Well, you don't have kids, but I'm sure Randy's like.
Not that I know of.
You go, not that you know of. Yeah, not that anybody's told you about. Yeah. So yeah, go check the. Anyways, okay. I was gonna say, Randy, you go through when your kids grow older, and then you go in through like the attic and all this stuff. You realize how much money you've spent on just random stuff that they no longer even like. You know how many bikes we have like 10 bikes in our house. Like as they kept going, I got them taken into the pawn shop or whatever. Maybe I'll just see if there's anybody who wants them. But so many bikes, scooters, you know those LOL. Lego's fun, but you know those little LOL dolls? There used to be little, you might not know, but they're these little dolls, and we have so many of those. And I remember they were like $10 each, and I'm just like looking back. I said to Marissa, and she's like, "Well, what are you gonna do, man? Kids are gonna get toys," and it's like, yeah. Okay. Anyways, I might go and get, Randy, if you don't mind, I'll take, I can't even feel my hands over here. So I would love a coffee. That would be fantastic. Okay, bang. Man, I hurt my shoulder. Ow, that's, remember yesterday we had Mark was always
the throwing.
But I actually hurt my, I feel like.
Yes.
Boom, then. There it is, man. Yo, Scott. Where are those hands at right now, man? We're throwing hands right now. Good move there on Palantir. Let's go. $2 in the money. We just get our pawn shop. I didn't mean pawn shop. We have a bike shop right near our house.
Okay.
That takes used bikes and sells them, and I know the guy there. And isn't that not called a pawn shop? I don't know. Anyways, it's a bike shop.
Yeah.
They also have skates there as well. So I don't know if you guys. There's many places like that, but anyways, yeah, shout out to Alex Karp and company as Palantir, making your boys' day right now. And there it goes, man, and we talked about this yesterday. That's your daily goal met right there. We have one trade in Tesla that no workout, but we have one trade in Palantir that worked and one that didn't. So despite now going 1 for 3, as we've talked about, you can have a positive day. And there it is, man, daily goal met. With that one trade, here we go, back up to the upside Palantir. Trade the names with the news, and we can go far with that play. USO hovering again. ORBS right now, still doing nothing. This would be a name potentially for the midday show here as, and for us. We've talked about it bouncing off this 200-period moving average. For me, I'm not excited in 8 co-holdings until we break 103. So pay attention if that happens in your accounts, if you guys have your orders ready to go. And honestly, man, let's go. Palantir right there, 153.90. I'm sitting there waiting. If we get that fill, good for us. Then we go to 154.50, and there's the 153.90 fill just taken right there. Boom goes a dynamite. All we had to do was wait for that 200-period moving average. Took a little shot. Like, this is what we mean, Obi. Look at the risk, right? You take the shot there. You go long at 153. Look at my out, 153.50. Even if we have the same shares, right, which we didn't. We have more down here. That right there is a 50-cent hit. So right there, there's the move up, 150, 150. Our first outs are 50 cents. So that puts that trade 1-to-1, and then, rest. All right, Adair, what you got for us?
It's happening now, and there is a lot that is happening now. But we'll start just by taking a look at the market. Really nice pop here off of these lows for the Nasdaq. Right now, we're coming into this pre-market area of support around 601 halves. Let's see how the Qs fare, because we already did briefly breach that 600 area. Here's the S&P 500 looking very similar to the Nasdaq. So we're going to talk about oil. I have a little bit more on that in a couple slides here, a couple seconds. But I think certainly you have to keep in mind, in addition to these geopolitical tensions, you also have more concerns about private credit. We know Sean mentioned that, but you've got now BlackRock, JP Morgan, and as of today, Morgan Stanley with some of these credit withdrawal limits. So that's certainly going to be a story to continue to keep eyes on. Not any massive economic data this morning. We, of course, got jobless claims, housing starts, building permits, and trade balance. But tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., you get core PCE and non-core PCE. You'll also get GDP. Then at 10 a.m., you get JOLTS job openings and University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So tomorrow, massive day for economic data. Palantir, PLTR, we know this is a name that Sean has been involved in, and they have their AIP Con event right now. I have that stream open, so once I hear or get any sense of anything, I'll certainly keep you all posted. But ahead of the actual event, they've already announced partnerships with GE Aerospace, NVIDIA, ONDS, and LEU. Then you have USO, and I'll talk about some of these oil headlines here. Comments from the new supreme leader of Iran reportedly saying that he believes the Strait of Hormuz should stay closed. We also have President Trump saying that when oil prices go up, the U.S. makes a lot of money. He's, basically expressed the idea that they obviously don't want high oil prices, but he thinks right now the conflict in Iran kind of supersedes that in terms of levels of importance. Last but not least, earnings on watch. PATH, we know Obi was involved in this name. They did have a double earnings beat, better than expected guidance, and a new buyback. But at least initially, that was not enough to lift this stock, though certainly bouncing off of lows. Bumble also posted earnings. This is another name that I believe Obi was either trading or looking at here. After the bell, we get Adobe and Ulta Beauty. But in the meantime, we get Sean and Obi. Do make sure to like, subscribe, and join us every single day.
TRBH, I do want to talk about your comment in just a minute, because right now we have a note from Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool last week hosted, hey, is that Randy? Oh, it is Randy. Hosted a live draft where 12 stock coaches built their starting five. 5 stocks they believe can survive the bracket and win the tournament. Now it's your turn to join the madness. Challenge number 1, pick the coach. If they have the strongest team and win the tournament, you could win, an evaluation trading account. The second challenge, you think you could beat the coaches? Well then, build your own core 5. And if your stocks outperform the tournament champion, you win the grand prize. If you do sign up as a group though, your prize pool doubles. Trade the Pool is putting up $2 million in prizes, so go grab it right now. The tournament starts March the 16th. Please make sure you scan that QR code right now. And by the way, we did get Palantir at $154.50, baby. So that's $3. That was a good trade there to start the morning. What's up with you, Adara?
Yeah, we do have comments from Alex Karp. He's currently speaking. He started his keynote. Last year, it wasn't supermarket related. This year, as of yet, kind of the same, talking about meritocracy in the U.S. military and how long that's been a thing for. If there is anything of note, I'll keep you posted, but I do think it's worth mentioning that he has begun speaking. Back to you.
Yeah, I don't want him to talk too much, but the move is upside. Because sometimes, remember, we take this trade. It's rate listed on here, right? One of 4 ideas on the list today, and it is because of the event that's happening. So I just think you want to be very, very careful that you make sure to do get out. At any moment he's done talking, stock drops. Any moment he says something market doesn't like, stock drops. So take advantage of upside moves, especially when it's a little bit of a news-based story, right? I mean, whenever you have these conferences, it's just like NVIDIA. Will it be a sell the news situation, buy the dips when their conference is on? I'm going to do exactly what I just said, take a little bit more out there at 154, and then ask it, when are we going to 155? So I'm offering right now 154.80, offering 155.50s, and then, Obi, the play for me is then leave it alone. If it does come back into the downside, then we can reload it. Let's not throw good money or bad money after good here and take our trades. This goes after this note. This is the one thing, and it was such a good note because it was what I was talking about. The trader's name was T. I have to go find it. Obi, I'm going to pass over to you and see if I can scroll up and find it. It's about structure and trading. So I'm going to go find that and see if I can put it on the screen for everybody.
All right, cool. Thank you for that one. I did mention that, yeah, I was interested in a little bit of Apple there. Apple catching a bid with that market turn, but you can see that we're catching a sell right back in. So maybe this was just a momentary green. I have no idea, but I'm going to wait and watch and see here. Pull up the Apple book for you guys as well. 256.30. So I did like this on that trend break, very distinct trend break, and you know it's being kind of pressured to the downside. Now I forget where I got this this analogy from. It's just like you know the selling off is on is off of that oil news, and we've been seeing a lot of like reversions and volatility based off of some of these news articles coming in and being pulled back or whatever. But if something is getting overextended and falls within range of where I like to get involved, I definitely will. And Apple was the one. Sure, there was Nvidia and Tesla as well. Let's see if this one works out, though. No idea, you know. I kind of understand what my win rate is on some of these reversions, and more than willing to take the hit on it if it does not work. But if it starts giving me actual structure to pyramid into, I like that as well. But we definitely need a little bit of market tailwind at the same time. If the market continues to pull right back in and seller step right back in, more than likely going to get stopped out as well, right? Because we are, again, in a very news-heavy environment. Anything can drop in the next second and be like, all right, cool, sellers stepping right back in here as well. Path, I like as at the same time, holding this 1150s level as well. Did I hear a call for Adara?
Yep.
All right.
Keep an eye here on USO. A little bit of a spike up here. It looks like we have comments coming in right now from Chris Wright, Secretary of Energy for the U.S. He's in a Fox News interview right now, and he just said that President Trump is concerned about rising energy prices during the short-term period. That did have a little bit of a spike here in USO. Now, we know that President Trump has said he believes that prices will eventually go down for energy, but Chris Wright saying he is concerned, at least in the short term, with energy prices. Furthermore, Energy Secretary Chris Wright going on to say that the release of this reserve oil is in part about ensuring near-term supply of oil over in Asia. If I get more comments from him or Palantir CEO Alex Karp, I'll let you know. I am listening to Alex Karp live. Back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, just letting people know that, you know, we did get, so there's USO, it's not doing anything right now, but thanks Adara for those stories. I mean, they're just talking about they're looking to load up the strategic reserves heading into the next year, despite the release, is what I just heard. So I'll just try to keep it up to date here with Adara's readings of the news as well. But okay, so just a couple outs up here. I just don't want to be that guy. Like, so right now, I do have only 10% left, and I'm now going to, because we only have 10%, now I'll wait for that ultimate high of 155.50. And it looks like we are getting into that, so I'm just going to wait for that print. And hopefully it comes through in 155. I'm actually at 155.40s, so we're pushing higher right now. We put that trade out. It is a name that we liked on the dip buy opportunity, so far so good right now. Wright is saying that he takes full responsibility for that erroneous X post that he had made. I guess Trump told him to say that, most likely. So that's good. I mean, whatever, man. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's a good thing that he's taking responsibility. So that's a story right now. He will personally approve all posts moving forward. So see, so there you go. So he takes responsibility for it. Then the very next word is that he will approve all posts moving forward. So that's good, at least. But anyways, the story goes for oil. And by the way,
what's up? Nice.
There it is, man.
There it is.
It is now a 1, a 2, a 3, a $4 now in the money there on PLTR. Your boy just needs to use more. We did a good amount of shares, but you know, you can always amplify the wins and the losers with share size, which I think is not that important that we worry about share size. I'm just more about the process here. Yes. Like, for the first time in a long time, shout out to Adam DeLuz and everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to my friends to the left of me too, Sharif and Joe. And just for, like, you know, when you get the trades and you have the ideas, stick with them. I wasn't able to. I will talk about that Netflix trade in a minute. Thank you so much for that. If you're not in a position, you're in lots of positions. Okay. I was going to say the comment that was made was about structure, and it said something like, it looks like, you know, once there's a structure to it, that I'm just going to talk in third person or whatever it is, but they said Sean can trade better when there's a structure. And I think that that's exactly the point. I mean, how many times have I sat here and gotten sort of pissed off because I'm not following sort of the rules that I'm writing down? You know, I have multiple sticky notes with rules on them. And then like yesterday, when oil was going against us, we just kept averaging. Like, that's not a strategy. Averaging into the wrong trades, bad strategy, right? So stick with your plan, and this is what sometimes can happen.
That path position is wrong. I think it's a little delayed. I already got out of that a while back. But,
all right, let me take a fill here because we're doing a nice little play upside there as we get to 156. Still didn't correct it. It might have to be the next time you take a fill, but okay. So just everybody knows you're only in the Apple long.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, Adara, what you got over there?
Alex Karp finished his very brief keynote. There was a lot of, like, don't listen to the news when they tell you about your company. It was kind of an odd speech, but it's done now. Now he's got someone involved with I believe the Navy. Looks like they're just gonna have clients speak now. I'm gonna keep listening to it in case there is anything of note. Specifically for any publicly traded companies that make comments, and if and when we start getting public company CEOs making speeches, I'll let you know, but I do feel obligated to tell you guys, Palantir CEO Alex Karp finished a very brief and not supermarket related keynote. Back to you.
You know what? Then I'm just gonna get out. So right now I now have 8% left. So I just or 7.5% left. Just took out a little bit more there at 155.50. If the star of the show is no longer there, then I'm happy with the move up, and we can hold whatever we have now. Let's go with our out at 154. Let's put that in. I mean, I have to cancel my 50-cent out right there to the downside because right now we're $4 and change. So we'll go 153.99. Let's put that as our stop. Is that right? Let's go to 153. 84s. We don't have that many shares left. We just want to give it a little bit of room. I don't want it to come to 154, do that little wick there, and then dance. So good couple trades. Always learning more and more every day. And this time we did hold for a good trade there. All right, so you're not in UiPath. We did get a note there. Can we put that super chat back up if you get a chance? No problem, Andre, if it takes a minute, because it was about. Takes a minute. How good is this guy over there? Thanks, nice. Andre. All right. So he's liking this Netflix trade. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I actually really like this Netflix trade at $95. I actually meant to talk about it, and then Palantir just went haywire. So, yeah. This is that sort of that structure that I was talking about, right? You do now have these downside looks into 94.50. So, you know, right here, you take the long, you give yourselves even 50 cents is a lot. You don't even have to give yourself that much. You give yourselves down to 60s. I would extend it 50 cents into the 200 period. But this looks like a good spot. Maybe you average in down there, then you give it to 94. But I think if you have $1 in your bag, I think that's a good trade for Netflix. I don't know why it dropped, honestly, off of 100 there. I think it's probably just a key level drop. And yeah, I believe in Netflix. I like that deal. They don't have that debt on their balance sheet. Netflix a winner moving forward, man. I mean, especially with AI, they're going to get more efficient. You know, they can now spend that money on acquiring different aspects of content, right? I mean, they have a video game system, video game department as well. Netflix live television. I'd rather them spend money on the live television spot. I think there's a big opportunity, as we know, in the fighting game, whether or not that be MMA, whether or not that be boxing. I really like the opportunity that Netflix has moving forward. They're just in so many set tops, man. Like everybody, not everybody has Netflix, but a lot of people have Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
I definitely think that that's something that we like there. So yeah, all right, Obi, that's what's going on for me, man. And it's been a good day, man. We actually wind up a little bit higher, obviously, than our daily goal, and we're happy with that. Yesterday, we lost our goal, so we got to make some back. And Netflix today, good little move there, $95. I think that's a good trade.
Nice, yeah, no, solid trade idea there on Flakes there, and solid trade on Palantir as well. Bit of a snipe at the lows. Apple's just consolidating sideways. I think again, if the market pulls back in, I think that'll probably you know.
Who punched Apple in the face today, eh?
Yeah, exactly. It's down more, well, relatively more. It was down relatively more than everything else, but right now, I guess it's Google, which is showing the relative, I guess, alignment with the market there. So quickly go to Google here and see what is going on with Google. We'll go to a 3-minute chart I'm on the hourly currently here. So Google, relative weakness as, I guess not really relatively weak, but relative weakness compared to that of some of these other stocks here is what I am seeing. Now, I'm not really looking at Meta. Meta might be telling a different story here, but take a look at Google. That just cracked its day low once again here on this 3-minute candle while the market bounced up. As well. So no real kind of a bounce happening here on the Google. So going to continue watching that. When it comes to the other Mag 7s, we can go through them real quick to see what they're up to. And what I really mean by why Apple was kind of the one that I was watching. NVIDIA here, you can see that it's not really, it's not really doing anything more different than the market. What's up?
I wanted to ask you because you traded this beautifully yesterday, Oracle.
Yeah, I'm watching it, yeah.
You're watching it, okay, because I was going to say it's right down here and thinking about support, but I know that the short yesterday was pretty hot, and if we break, excuse me, if we break that pre-market low, maybe something there on Oracle. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention for sure, because I know that was a trade potentially that you may have some interest in. All right, I'm going to get out another piece here at 87. See, that's the problem with offering. You see, like I offer 87s and then it tanks 10 pennies. Not because of my offer, but like trying to get that rebate just costs a little bit there. Now I don't have, we just got a piece out just before it tanked there at 155 again. So we have 5% left now. Of this trade, but the market is coming back in quite nicely. That should have been maybe a reload, not a reload, but we should have had it right there, first of all. And then right into there, the 50-period moving average on the Nasdaq, right? That's not the be-all, end-all. I really do like look at VWAP here. You know, VWAP hold, that little spike down, that's probably on some sort of a dark pool. But right into there, we break it, not much action on the break. I mean, that was tough. That was pre-market trading. And then it comes right back up into there again, shows us its face about 20 minutes before the market opens and is like, all right, well, you know, we're fine hanging out. And then it comes right back up. It does the exact same trade again and then whoosh. So that's that structure trade, man, that I'm trying to be all about. And we actually did identify that. So, okay. All we do is we sort of tap ourselves on the back and say, good look, good identification, but next time take the trade. And that's part of the game, right? And we said earlier, like we were gonna sit on our hands a little bit, so maybe tomorrow we just get a little more aggressive early on. All right, I have a smart portfolio, that's good, because mine is the dumbest portfolio you've ever seen, at Schwab, but it had wiped gains from 20K down to 1K. That doesn't sound that smart. Should I take it out and wait? Wait a second. I have a smart portfolio at Schwab, but it had wiped gains. Okay, so you're up 20 grand, now you're up a grand. Should I take it out? Okay, so we don't, the one thing that I have to make sure we tell everybody is here is like, it's not our thing to give, you know, financial advice about those kind of ideas, all right? Like, what you're gonna do with your portfolio is completely up to you. Like, there's not even enough information in that question, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know what stocks you have, if it's a futures, if it's an options play or something like that. I was gonna say, if it's stocks related, stocks can be a long game. I mean, it's been a bad couple of days. So if you're long, right now being down 1.2%, yeah, possibly not the greatest time to take it out. We've seen the market battle back, all right? So I would just say, the idea behind that kind of a trade for me, and you just saw me execute it. So this is like, here, let's go props up. Because I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do here every day. And that is that watch the upside, but protect the downside. So even if, like right now, I'm costing myself, even if it's 10 shares, whatever I had left, like that move down there, it breaks 154. I already said that was gonna be my out. So it goes down there, it just fires off. As I'm hosting the show and talking to you guys, the order goes out and I wipe my hands clean of it. So for me, the advice to everybody, including Obi, Sharif, everybody, Adara, anybody, Neil, anybody, is, and you can get this in the academy, is make sure you have that protection. Do not take a trade or a portfolio management unless you need to protect some of that capital. Now, some of us, like, if it's in your long-term portfolio, you may not worry about that kind of a trade. You know, buy 19 grand. I mean, I don't know what the position size is in that account, but I would say have an out. So that's my advice about anybody that ever asks me what to do with this kind of a loss. Is not much to do now. Just think about it for next time, right? What are you going to do next time to preserve your capital? So without knowing your positions, that's a hard super chat to talk about, but I think the mentality there is what wins. And I think even on, I know we're gonna have to go to Adair, she has an update, but even being on a prop floor, we actually talked about this last night, right, Obi? And that is that you're taught to, make half of your risk or vice versa to protect, give yourself some one-to-one on the risk to rewards as far as your P&L is concerned. So that kind of stuff is well taught at prop firms because you're forced risk management. All right, let's go back to Obi, rant of the day done, and we'll go back over and see what Adair is up to. I think she agrees, especially on those spready names that you like, Adair. If you don't have your outs, next thing you know, that loss just becomes amplified, right?
Yeah, no, 100% agreed with Sean. You have to be able to trust, know your ticker enough, especially if you're day trading, to trust your instincts on when to get out. Because you're right, the type of stuff that I'm looking at, especially if you don't get out, you're never going to get a shot potentially. So thank you very much to Sean and Obi for that awesome conversation. We're going to transition into small caps. I do have one headline I want to mention. I didn't really see it moving any of these stocks, but keep an eye potentially in some of these robo-taxi adjacent plays, Tesla and Lucid for sure. Executive from Lucid reportedly saying that robo-taxi rapid scaling is expected within the next 2 to 5 years. Now, let's talk about these small caps. We'll start with FLY, admittedly not the smallest market cap name. We're talking about $3.5 billion market cap. Short float in the single digits, I think 7 to 8%. This is going to be on watch here after announcing that their Alpha Flight 7 Stairway to 7 mission has apparently successfully launched and delivered a Lockheed Martin payload from Vandenberg Space Force Base. POLA, this was a name that was discussed in the morning show. Polar Power, they are in that electrical equipment and parts sector. Market cap here, $6.3 million market cap, 1.85 million shares. So small market cap and very small float for POLA. Last but not least, ONDS. This is a name that I know has been traded on this show relatively recently. It is a smaller cap name, rallied in the past, and again, rallied fairly recently as well. ONDS, one of the many companies that Palantir has announced partnerships with. Apparently, they're going to collaborate alongside Worldview, whose CEO is currently speaking at AIPCon on this Stratolite ISR project. If and when the CEO of ONDS or any other executive from the company does appear at AIPCon, because of course there is a chance of that happening, I'll certainly let you all know. Back to you, and do make sure to like and subscribe.
Thank you very much, Adara. Yeah, no, going back to the conversation on risk, I was kind of, maybe in slight disagreement there, where yes, of course, we're taught how to manage risk pretty well, but when you start off with such a small shutdown, you're almost forced to risk. It's a double-edged sword. I'll say that much. It's a double-edged sword because it's just like when you have a small shutdown, you're more kind of directed towards risking it all on what you think is a great setup. So that can almost force you to be like, okay, what are the best setups? It kind of teaches you that way as well. But eventually, when you do have a larger shutdown, it's just like, okay, am I really going to be putting that much on the line? Then you have to kind of break that shutdown up into segments, being like, okay, well, we talk about risk units. I think that was a great kind of transition in my trading as well, where I'm just like, instead of going like, okay, well, I'm going to do half shutdown or full shutdown on something like this, of course, an A+, you might even be thinking about risking like a daily or a double shutdown if that opportunity, if you think that's like a once in a year kind of opportunity, maybe I'm risking 2 days worth of a shutdown on that if it's really that good. This is why trading's
so hard, because there's so many variables.
There's so many variables, and you have to get good at all of them, right? We talk about getting good at entries, getting good at position management, getting good at exits as well, getting good at sizing, getting good at managing a risk, and then you gotta get good at stock selection, get good at a lot of these things, and you gotta also have like the runway to kind of make sure you spend enough time doing all of those things properly in an efficient way as well, and that's why there's a good reason why trading is as hard as it is. And again, it's a journey. I'm on that journey as well, and I'm loving every single step of it at the same time. So if you guys are wondering what those risk units are, I personally, whatever my daily risk is, I break it up by tens, and each 10% chunk is one risk unit. So when I'm taking a trade, I'm just like, all right, does this deserve one risk unit? So I can potentially try it 10 times, or I'm like, this trade on the day deserves 3 risk units, but then I have to break that down as well because I know that, if the strategy has a 20-30% win rate or a 40-50% win rate, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to allocate this much of my daily risk to this, 3 risk units worth, then I have to split that up as well on the tries that I'm taking, right? So it's just like, okay, there's there's levels to this ish.
It's just
what I'm trying to get at.
So many levels, man, to all of this. I did want to bring up PayPay. So
yes.
I feel like so silly calling it that, but that's the name. So it's there, man, and it might open sooner than we think. This is not a lot of interest there. Like, so Neil and I have, sat here and traded, these kind of plays many times, and waited for the right opportunity to strike on these IPOs and whatnot. And I don't know if this is the right one. It was priced at 16. It's now at 21. We've seen sort of the financial, and I don't know enough of what PayPay is, and maybe I can ask Adair. Yeah, why don't you find the core business there for PayPay? Because if you're going to look at it, PayPal, as we had some jokes earlier on this morning about that, not a great look, right, for PayPal or Block or anything like that right now. If they're more of an upstart, that might also be a problem, as upstart's funding for upstart companies, like companies that are potentially in the software space, and names looking for financing there in Silicon Valley and whatnot. You could see upstarts not really participating in this. The best IPOs for me, the Coinbase, the Bullish, the names like that when the crypto space is hot. Like Coinbase literally IPO'd at Bitcoin's height back when it was. At that time was the height. So, you want to make sure that you get it in when the time is right. I feel like if StubHub IPO'd during Taylor Swift craziness, it might have been even better because people would understand the amount of money. But anyways, let's go back over to Adair and figure out what PayPay is.
So PayPay, I have their website up because I wanted to show you guys something. Obviously, they're not open yet, so I can't show you the chart. But what it says here under service, that's basically the essence of their business. I did do a quick dive into them. They've got about 38 million users, and they are the largest Japanese mobile payment app. So how this works, again, starting in 2018, what they did was they started a QR and barcode-based payment system. They were developed in collaboration with an Indian payment services company, but basically, you use a smartphone app, you link your bank account, and you can add money to your PayPay account directly from your bank account. Now, when you go to purchase an item, you can make a payment either by scanning the QR code or by having the clerk scan a barcode on your smartphone. So it's all phone-based, and again, that is actually how you also link your actual bank account. Now, as you can imagine, there could be some security risks with this. And this leads me to one kind of negative headline with this company. In 2020, they did fall victim to a cybersecurity incident, hacking attack originating in Brazil. Of course, a little bit concerning given the fact that your bank account is linked, but I hope this does give you guys some more perspective as to what PayPay's business is and some of the benefits and risks related. It also, I think one last thing worth noting, they were developed or established, as a joint venture with SoftBank Group and Yahoo Japan. So, as we mentioned earlier, some heavy hitters are involved in this company. Back to you.
Okay, so maybe some reasons there. I'm not against taking that long print. It might be better to have a look to see how it opens up, and then I kind of hold this for Obi, but there is potential, reversion trade there on that name as the financials continue to print lower here today as the ES and the Nasdaq now at day's low. So bad, man, to not have reloaded that, or to not have taken that short in the first place on the futures. I really feel like I missed an opportunity there. Silver, I just wanted to say, is breaking lower as well. It just took out the day's low there. And this name is a little easier for me to find that structure now because we do have a relatively close VWAP and 50 period, 25 period moving average right here. So I feel like we talk about getting your money in when you have an edge a little bit there. Looks like the market wants to come down, and then we have pushing VWAP's already held pretty much all morning there since the open. It opens up at VWAP, hits it again, and we're still going lower. Silver's not moving around that much, so this is not something that I think we need to get super excited about. But silver, a nice move to the downside right now. It's only down 0.2, which is generally a hedge. Like I was wondering, because the market's getting crushed, is silver short really the right play? It's setting up, it looks like to me, but Potentially not. Gold is actually doing a little worse than silver is today. And then you're going to go over to oil again to have a look. That's at its highs right now. So you're kind of cruising upside, up 10% there for oil. It's just funny because Donald Trump, he didn't say two things. He just said kind of different things. And that is that, sure, we want to have lower oil prices because it's better for the consumer. It's better for the U.S. economy. We all know the story with oil. But at the same time, he then said that USA is such a huge producer of oil that, the higher it goes, the more money they make. And that is also, both can be correct and both are correct. So right there, Palantir, oh boy, cold hands, coughing, not great. There's 154 breakdown right there. And that was our stop. So there you go again, right? I mean, we had that super chat about, risk management, and someone asked me if am I reloading Palantir, and the answer is just no. Like you gotta wait until you get something that you like, and we're coming into 152. So on any part of a reload idea, I think 152 would be that idea. Tesla, by the way, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Obi. I think I might have to go get some more water. Yeah, Tesla just broke through 4 bills. So down goes Tesla right now. Down goes Foreman. And I just didn't get a prediction. Did we find out if that Ronda Rousey fight is boxing yet or not? Because that's going to be interesting. And all right, let's go to the downside right now. 399, 398. Looks like it's breaking a little lower here on Tesla. The market's getting sick, wicked, and nasty right now as we get lower, man. Down 1.5% here, down 1.25% on the on the ES. The market is getting nasty to the downside. I'm not reloading that Palantir. There's no way now. I'm not going to take that risk right here. The market is free fall, big time. I mean, this is no bids. In the last about 15 minutes, there's one up, or maybe two up candles. So we're going to wait on that one. Yeah, we got some snow coming next week, by the way. Thanks for that, Adam James Abroad. Are you Canadian, Adam, by any chance? Oh, he is. Okay, so... All right, so you know the life there, but it's no different. Like, we always get ragged on a little bit here, but like East Coast is not like Philly, New York, down in upstate New York, Buffalo, Rochester, that whole area, like Boston, like that whole East Coast, man, gets bombed. We actually don't get as much snow as you think here. It's more than probably 95% of our viewers, but it is a slippery slope when it gets wet around here, man. That snow can be nasty. I'm more worried about the -15. Like, I'm not down with that. But if you're prepared for it, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Wear that winter jacket and deal with the rest. NVIDIA getting hammered, AMD getting hammered. Would I recommend, okay, Obi, here you go. This is your thing, man. Something about books. I never heard of. I mean, what's a library?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay, yeah. Mike Laurie. I didn't realize it was off of a super chat there. Yeah. Would you guys recommend any books, or do you guys have training classes? I just want to keep growing.
No training classes
and
at all.
I don't mean my stomach there. I think Sean was talking about the academy in terms of books. It really there's a lot of good information out there. I really like certain types of books, but again, that's just my opinion, right? Like, I feel like at different points in your trading journey, different books are going to do well for you, and I think that it's really hard to kind of recommend something like that. So if if you're giving me information about maybe if you're just starting off, or maybe you're well into the game,
is there one you like? Here, I'll give you some information. What about for mentality?
I mean, for mentality, there's the classic, what do you call, I always forget his name. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas is a good one there. And the ones I really like are the Market Wizards books. I'm just gonna get out of this.
I like One Good Trade.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, One Good Trade. Yeah,
that's I think that goes with this whole structure thing as well.
Yeah, I like the Playbook. Again, by Mike Bellafiore. He's one of the founders of S&B Capital. Another solid trading firm as well. But One Good Trade is pretty good. I like the Playbook, his second book that he wrote as well. The Playbook really kind of wrapped a lot of concepts for me as well. So I really like the Playbook, maybe a little bit more than One Good Trade, but both of them solid books as well. All the Market Wizards books for sure. A lot of the Market Wizards books, and you also have. I used to mention this one a lot. Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets by John J. Murphy is kind of like one that I reference every now and then. And a lot of, like some of my reversion ideas as well I got from that book as well. But there's a lot of good information out there. Now, throw it up in the chat. What are some of the books that you guys have read that have helped you in your trading journey and given you perspective and given you ideas and, you know, brought out maybe some of that passion as well? That's why I like the Market Wizards books. It definitely, when you read that and you read like, okay, there's so many different types of players in this market. Some of them think totally differently, but they're still able to, you know, knock it out of the park, and it really gets you curious about the game and how deep it can really go. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Murphy's book is the Bible. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people consider that technical analysis of the financial markets pretty much a trading Bible, and yeah, it's pretty good. I know that. Was it Brett Steenberger,
Yeah.
who is you know, performance psychologist, a trading psychologist? He has a couple of good books as well. He has a new one as well, which I'm looking to read next. Currently, I'm reading. Was it How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market by Nicholas Darvis, which is pretty solid. It was a pretty solid read as well, kind of his life story. I like that. I'm liking that one. But yeah, you got to keep on reading, keep on you know, educating yourself, getting different perspectives. I think that's a solid part of it. Alpha Trader is also a pretty solid one as well. Talking about mentality, we're talking about mentality and mindset. Alpha Trader, and there's one more. I remember the cover of it, and I'm thinking, you know what? I have a picture of it somewhere here. Let me, you know what? I actually sent one to Jose recently, so I'll look that.
I did want to say something about, because no matter what book you read or what you're doing, right? It's like, as you said, it's just going to help you, you know, see other people's perspectives and potentially give yourself, you know, a little bit of an. That's why I asked you about the mental aspect of it, because you still got to sit there and hit the keys. You know, like a lot of the times, what you're writing about in books, like trading live and right in front of you. That's why we always talk about going into sim mode and things like that. Like, read things to get ideas, broaden your perspective, and educate yourself, and just get smarter about the game. But there's not one book that's going to tell you this is how to trade. They might tell you how they look at the markets, what some different perspectives are, stories of successful traders, but you got to find your own path, because Obi said something yesterday that really hits home, and that is like every trader has a different personality.
Yes.
You know, and that is that, you know, one person, and we talked about, you know, Neil's more slow there with the rebates and things like that, and taking different setups. I'm one way, you're one way, Adara, like everybody is one way, and that has to go with your personality as well, you know, because if you're that raw, go get 'em kind of guy, then there's going to be certain strategies and certain stocks and methods that you're going to trade. If you're more of a, you know, let the market come to me, patient kind of guy, and, you know, you can see a lot of that in the way you deal with your spouse or your, you know, conflict in your life or your kids, or
trading will bring that out in you for sure. Yeah,
all that stuff. And then another important thing too, physically, your sleep patterns, your eating habits and everything like that, and different little habits that you have in and around here, like someone bringing you a coffee every once in a while. Shout out to Randy. All right, Adara, it's 10:40. What you got for us?
I also want to mention SAP Chief Operating Officer giving a kind of interesting speech here at Palantir. He just mentioned Frodo Baggins, so keep an eye on SAP. It did get a little bit of a pop once he first began to speak again. That is the COO of SAP. So yeah, maybe watch that stock, or if you are trading it, just be aware he is speaking. Let's talk about the sector board. There are some notable spots of strength, so I'll start with those. Utilities and energy minerals. Energy minerals, of course, rallying alongside oil. I do have to give an honorable mention here to Occidental. OXY up almost 5%, Occidental, in addition to, of course, overall oil strength. It got a double upgrade from Wells Fargo from underweight to overweight. Utility is also going to be a strong one here, as I mentioned. Distribution has some areas of strength. Industrial services really mixed, but waste management, KMI, Kinder Morgan, and RSG are all going to be really strong today. And tech services, some of the software continues to kind of rotate back into strength. CRM up about 5%, but Google and Meta, two of the three Mag 7s in the sector, sharply to the downside. Electronic tech, red across the board, just bright red, with Micron, Broadcom, and AMD all notably weak. Finance is going to be absolutely a sector to watch, and there is kind of a sector-wide catalyst for this. These concerns here about private credit withdrawal limits. Producer manufacturing, lots of weakness. Health tech, lots of weakness. Consumer durables led to the downside by Tesla, despite some robotics excitement with TSLA. Tesla's back below $400, guys. Transportation and non-energy minerals weak as well. So long story short, if you're looking for strength, energy, minerals, and utilities, as well as some of these software rotation plays, those might be the best places to look. And back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. So yeah, a couple more books that I thought of. Atomic Habits by James Clear. That's a pretty solid one as well. I think just for life in general, and it definitely carries over into trading. There's also Thinking Fast and Slow. That one was absolutely solid. Again, not just for trading. That one's by Daniel Kahneman. That one's pretty good. I really like, if you want about price action and volume, I really like Anna Culling's book, A Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis as well. So that one's pretty solid. I read that one every now and then. I've read it every now and then over the past couple of years here. So Purity Financial saying Psychology of Money is one. Yeah, Psychology of Money. I really like that one as well. And there's a second one as well that he wrote. It's Psychology of something, Psychology of Money, and there's another one as well. Yeah, those are pretty good ones.
Okay, thanks, Obi. Yeah,
has Obi just Googled trading books? I mean, no, not necessarily. I come across like different recommendations. I have like a list that I want to finish this year that I'm going through. I know you see it on my screen here. I've checkmarked all the ones that I have read and I am reading as well. So no, you can even with a Google search, so maybe you'll find the most popular ones as well. But some of those ones I definitely really have liked.
Here's a good example of knowing when to step away. I mean, there's ORBS. We talked about once it breaks that dollar mark, you don't want to be involved. And if anything, you might have thought about going short. And we were saying first of all, in the pre-market, the get long was there. We had sort of mentioned that, and that was a good trade if you're able to get it. And then we also mentioned that if you were to take it one more time, and we knew, I mean, again, like as it was open, I said like sell volume's going to come in on the open. So you got to get ready for that. It does break a dollar. I would have thought it would have bounced back there. And then I don't have any problem if someone went long a dollar there, hoping that it was back upside. But then when you see this, then you got to think about getting out at that low break there. So I feel like this is a 5 or 6 cent maximum loss right there. And then if you had noticed anything, breaking sort of that 200 period moving average and that new low, that gave you another short at 95. Of course, we look back now and it's 87. So I just feel like this was really well structured for a small cap name that is now under $1. So I just like that was just a great structured trade there. We nailed it on the long and on the short. So congratulations, anybody that had that one. And you remember what I was saying, and people were asking me about, is Palantir here a good reload spot? I didn't really. Yeah, okay, thank you. Right there for Dart. I mean, it's just funny. You just mentioned this, and I was just talking about it randomly right there. And it was this Palantir level that I was talking about. But it was you guys in the chat. I said the market looked like it was coming in, and I didn't want to reload it right there. But there it was right there, man. I mean, we talked about that level right into the 200 period moving average, and there's the super chat. So there's $1.50 for you right there back up to the upside on, again, like, it goes back to what we just talked about. Like there's your line. We've done the work. It's on there for a reason. And then my mind goes, the market's coming in. I don't want to take it. But if the market wasn't coming in, then this stock wouldn't have came in either. So it came in right into the level that I had marked as a buy zone. So should have sort of left my opinion aside there on the overall market and maybe taken that trade. And I think back to how I can improve myself on that, and that would be maybe take less shares. Like if I'm not as excited about the trade, then take half a unit instead of 1 or 3 or 4 units. This was a 3-unit trade down there because it came right in, right at the open. That's the kind of trade we like. The market's not giving any signs, so we do that, but boom, nice move to the upside right there. We'll see what's going on, but 154.75, looks like Palantir wants to keep going. The market just spiked. Was there news on oil there? Let me go over to oil just real quickly. Yes, okay, there goes oil down. So bang, man, we're getting good now, Obi. We just saw that move to the downside. Now we're gonna find out what's going on. What is the Jones Act? They are set to suspend the Jones Act. I just heard in my ear. I'm assuming that's an oil thing. I don't know enough about this.
It looks like it's a federal statute that requires that all goods transported by water between U.S. ports be carried in ships that are U.S. flagged, U.S. built, and owned and crewed by U.S. citizens. So yeah, I'm seeing this headline now. Basically looks like Trump administration is going to be suspending the Jones Act to tame oil price. Seems like what that means is they're going to, as far as I can tell, allow ships that are not U.S. built or carrying or branded with U.S. flags to cross through in order to help tame the oil price, is the wording the headline uses. If I get more details, I'll keep you posted. That's all I'm seeing right now. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, so there it goes. So thanks, Adair, and that's why, you're going to want to be tuned in here to us every minute the market's open. Like, we had that news almost immediately there. Adair broke through it, and again, Trump administration set to suspend the Jones Act to tame oil prices. So they are. That's funny there. What's up? Why not? Why not? They are keeping up with the Joneses there. Okay, so yeah, Toby, man. Toby's like, man, you missed that dip by big time. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we didn't miss, like, we talked about it. It was there. And I'm just glad that we mentioned it, man. I mean, I can be him, that's fine, but you got to be you. And I mean, you guys got to be able to, no, but we got to make our own trades. Like I also said, silver, like there's so many trades as we sit here and look at it, right? I mean, silver to the downside there as well. It's just, we all got to make our own trades. And I'm glad to talk about them all with everybody. But yeah, I feel bad. Sometimes we miss those trades. We also, like, we talked about Tesla breaking 4 bills. Like, how good was that? There's the hold of 400. There's the break and downside. So there's always other trades. And that's the one thing that I've sort of dealt with my own ways. Like, I get upset when we miss trades. So I am upset about missing that Palantir trade, but trying to mature up a little bit and not worry too much about it and just look for the next opportunity, right? Yeah, because that's all you could do. There's so many trades. Like, I've come back, man, and we had a crazy great afternoon yesterday. We didn't have a good morning. We had a great afternoon. So it's like, that's the kind of reloading that sometimes you need, and you're not going to catch every trade, man. So market going downside there. So I guess maybe crude, that might not have done it for crude right now.
Crude, it just bounced right back.
Right.
Like, all that selling was absorbed like this, and it just slammed right back up. And it's funny, I was talking to, was that Bastone on in the chat there, and he was like, Obi, are you shorting USO today? And I'm like, I'm waiting. And then 1 or 2 minutes later, slam from 117 to 115 halves there, and I'm just like, all right, cool.
You can put that up. This is something that's pretty sensitive. I mean, we don't really, I mean, I'm not doing this on purpose, but you mean like these bangs and stuff like that? I do think that, when the market gets like this.
That's just trolling.
It is. No, but they're in Abu Dhabi. Like, I was just going to say, like, for me too, like, that would be some scary ass shit. Like, hearing all that, hearing those sirens and all that warning stuff. But unfortunately, we are doing a show, and those sound effects are just that, right? So, oh my God, see, now Stone Cold's here. What's going on? But I love that sound effect, Joe, because that reminds me of the good old days of the WWE. So, anyways, well noted, and thank you for that super chat. We do appreciate that as well, and I'll take that to heart. I mean, I do, do understand that is a sensitive thing.
Look at the
sure.
bid coming in.
Yeah,
back at 117.
Sorry, go ahead. I missed what you said there.
Look at the bid coming in now. Like, we're back at 117s, as if like nothing happened. Right there. So that selling on the news just gets absorbed. And what's funny is I've been watching this thing, right? I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm looking for the backside move. If it can get to certain prices and do certain things, yeah, definitely. I'm more than willing to slam into this. But yeah, take a look at every pullback into VWAP on USO. Boom. Once there at around 9:30. Once again at 10:05. And then now an aggressive ping of this area right here slaps it right back up. Sure, it got below VWAP, but the idea is that there's been buyers kind of slowly bringing this up, and even on the news on that flush, it gets bought right back up. I'm like, all right, cool. I see that happening. I tried to take a quick scalp on Apple here as well. Once again, in and around that 255, and I saw that coming in. And I'm like, yeah, no, the market. Yeah, that's why I was just like, yeah, these hedges are crazy because you're seeing that dichotomy between both USO and the futures here, and there are definitely people putting on hedges on both these I guess assets vehicles, and I didn't want to be in Apple anymore if that was going to bid right back up to the high. So I'll be patient. I'm waiting and looking for the next trade, just as Sean just mentioned. Sometimes, the best position is literally sitting on your hands and waiting for the next opportunity. I don't want to bleed out, whatever P&L just because I feel like an itch for a trade. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, like, oil's back at day's high.
Yeah.
Like Trump or somebody's going to start to get pissed off because everything that they're announcing, they released the oil reserves last night to get it going. They're talking about this Jones Act. It's not working. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on here. This is sort of that power that Iran has with that strait, right? So we'll see what gets done soon on that one. All right, we're going to go. It's Money Talks time with Adara, so we're excited for that. Let's go find out what she has for us with Money Talks.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of go over that headline again here, the headline is a report that the Trump administration will be suspending the Jones Act in order to tame oil prices. So again, this has not been confirmed yet. This is just a report. I did post on X at TTV Research kind of explaining this headline and what the Jones Act is. But once again, it is Section 27 of the Merchant Marine Act of 1920. It's a federal statute, and it basically says, hey, if you are going to be transporting goods between water or by water between U.S. ports, you have to be on a ship that is U.S. flagged, U.S. built, and owned or crewed by U.S. citizens. That's the detail there with the Jones Act. But again, you can check out on X at TTV Research for further details. Let's take a look here at the U.S. dollar. DXY, I think, liked this headline because if you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see when we got this most recent spike to the upside. And to be fair, I think the DXY was already climbing. But nice look here. We come now 3 touches into that 99.7s area right now, around 99.6 halves. Let's see if the DXY can break out of this area of resistance and make a new high for the year 2026. In terms of economic data, as I mentioned earlier, we did get some prints today, but I cannot overstate how big tomorrow is going to be from an economic data perspective. At 8:30 a.m., you get PCE and core PCE month over month and year over year. You also get GDP. Then at 10 a.m., you get another double whammy here, JOLTS job openings and University of Michigan consumer sentiment. We are expecting a lower consumer sentiment print. Consumer sentiment is certainly a number that can move the market, specifically the University of Michigan consumer sentiment print. JOLTS can also move the market. So A, I think it'll be worth keeping an eye on these numbers, but B, it's going to be interesting to wait to see how the market reacts. We'll be reacting to one or both of these prints because the fact that we're getting 2 major prints at once, twice, could be an interesting look for the market and for the U.S. dollar. Back to you.
Same trade again, pops into the same area where sellers stepped in heavy.
Oracle.
My average was like 168s. I liked selling around 168s, and it just comes right back in today, and you get the same trade again on Oracle. So a bit of a miss on my part not getting involved in Oracle day 2, where sellers show up exactly where they were yesterday, and I'm just like, okay, well, what am I doing? What am I doing? That's the question.
What's that thing that we do every time around this time? Every day around this time?
What's for lunch?
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah, let's find out what's for lunch right now. So, funny story about yesterday was Brazilian pork. I asked Brendan what he thought of the Brazilian pork, and he said he thought it was chicken. Yeah. Okay, today's flag right here. The flag of potentially the #1 baseball nation in the world.
Ooh.
Italy.
Okay.
Adara knew exactly where we were going with that one. And the good thing about the Italian flag is, unless our caterers start, dripping, tilapia with tomato sauce or something like that, I think we're okay from tilapia. So I see people in the chat definitely want to get us riled up with the tilapia. It will not be a tilapia Thursday because today it's always the same when there's an Italian flag. Never had pizza, never had lasagna, we never had chicken parmesan, we've never had eggplant parmesan, we've never had gnocchi, no, there's no ravioli happening here, anything like that. Today it's a beef bolognese, one more time. But this time it goes /Beyond Meat. So here we go. So get ready, Andre, for it's for vegetarians. So everybody that's not in the camp of meat eaters, you will be a Beyond Meat bolognese. So good luck with that. Italian salad, steamed vegetable, and the classic noodle of Spaghetti. There you go. You nailed that one, my friend. That's it. Props up to you. That's what's for lunch in a dramatic fashion. And we're happy about that. Yeah, the beef bolognese is generally okay. So we'll see if that goes down okay today. And sometimes it could be a little too tomatoey for my liking there, but it should be good. And because I get the salad, so it's going to be like the bolognese on top of a salad. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, so that's that. What a great show I feel like again today. I mean, I always kind of feel like that. So, and I hope you guys do as well. Thanks to Dara for all the information today on the ever-going strife there in the Middle East. USO still doing its own thing. All right, get ready, Sharif and Joe. We do not have PAYP yet. So this is a name to come through. Just to give Sharif and Joe an idea, the highest tap I saw today was 21, and it's now 20. So it's coming back in a little bit. The important thing to do, and I don't need to tell Sharif or Joe this, but it's only 1 million here on the paired value. Generally speaking, we like to see a little more than that to get super excited. But there still is a bid there of 1 million. So that looks like that's going to go to 2 million at least. So I would say they're not really that close to opening this up yet because they've only dealt with half of the open interest on that. And yeah, I don't want everybody to think that I actually enjoy the caterer. I don't think there's anything wrong with the caterer. We're having fun here every day talking about it. So yeah, I think they do a great job. And there's 30 or 40 people here in the back office and everything that are associated with real trading, including the team of 10 or so of us here. As well. So it's catered lunch, and I actually think they do pretty good, right? I mean, generally speaking, it's a good lunch. So I would not vote for a change of caterer at all. And actually, we befriended a lot of the guys involved with the business. So it's definitely a harder take to do it for that many people than you think. I would assume, but. Yeah, that's all good, man, and we're excited for it. If there's any, I'm looking to go on a vacation like at some point here. So if there's any travel agents or anything in the chat, man, you know of some good place to take your family over there, somewhere nice and warm, Costa Rica, I don't know, somewhere in Mexico or I don't know, something like that. The kids, I want to take them to a nice little hotel and get a good experience there. So shout out to my good friend Nelson in Miami. Yeah, hit me up, man. Hit me up. On my Instagram or on Twitter for any ideas there. Even a timeshare, man. I don't know. I don't mind. You can figure it out. Marissa was actually like, maybe we should do something like a Airbnb type thing where you're not worried about running for the pool spots and the towels and all that stuff. And but I don't know. I kind of like playing those games. Getting out there, getting those close seats, waking up early and grabbing it. But she's like, nah. We don't need any of that, but I don't know. I don't mind it. And then, like I was saying with the kids, man, go get your own food and go crazy at those resorts. They're fun times. You've been to a couple of resorts?
Yeah, for sure.
So they're fun times.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah.
I haven't done enough of that. So my kids, we haven't gone anywhere in a couple of years. Yeah. So
no, I've been with friends. It was funny. It was like kind of going back and forth, like in between like semesters. Kind of staying at a few resorts there. Where
we went to a place for reading week, but that was a nice gong show, if you can imagine, when we were in school. Oh, Rivian, right here, before we throw it back over, where's the warm spot for you?
Where I went?
Yeah.
Saint Martin.
Oh, Saint Martin, okay.
Yeah.
Boom, we'll love that.
Sand. I love those white sand beaches.
Just heard a little, something about Rivian, but then it didn't continue. Oh, they introduced, here it goes, Rivian introduces their R2 lineup, including pricing. So maybe that's something for Sharif on the Midday show. Rivian just announced pricing and trims for R2. So you guys can cover that. Okay, that's it, man. We always get in trouble by Joe if we go over. So we do not want to go over anymore. He gets really offended if we ever do. So, all right, Obi, great show. Thank you so much to everybody today, man. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to Dara in the back. She's not going anywhere, so more news, more love, more life. Thank you so much to everybody in the back, man. Andre, Sharif, Joe, Brendo, Ramin, Fabian, everybody. Thank you so much. How much? 57.9 US.
For the buy-in.
So you had 1.3 to that, and that's your Canadian price of around 85 or so. All right, thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you at 2 p.m. That's Obi, I'm Sean, and that's Sharif and Joe. See you guys soon. I see what
Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. I'm Sharif. And the R2 Assassino is going to be a very light, a very cheap, and not too expensive $57,990 USD to start. Eh?
That's the performance package.
That's the performance package, Katina Man? Yeah, Katina Man oh yeah. That's additional premium configurations. All right, let's say hello to everybody, then we'll go through this thing line by line. All right, guys, shout out to Mr. Laws, Nikki, Front Porch Trader, Britt Brennan. Shout out